Well, just name one positive thing, one happy thought before I move to the next thing. Give me one happy thought.
Well, Aubameyang came on at the 5th minute and he came off at the 66th minute.
Genitalia reporting.
Oh my god.
Wait, Osuna, are you high?
R9 fourth and Cristiano Ronaldo fifth.
Can I go next?
I think Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest European.
And I want to say R9 just because I actually rate him higher. It's just that you always say that he had a grenade tossed to his ankle, and he floated or some type of stuff. It's crazy, bro.
My Uber Eats was late. So that's why we are doing this late in time. But guys, my chips is here, guys. I'm having chips guys. These chips are more
It's dry, bro. It's dry. It looks dry.
These chips are good. No, these chips are bloody good.
Show the shoes.
Those chips are bloody good, man. Ricardo, eat your damn mangi noodles. Okay, I saw. Wait, what's that? Is that noodles or rice?
It's fried rice.
Fried rice with Cantonese chow mein.
Oh, you're so bougie, Japanese chow mein. Okay, this bougie person, man. Oh, this guy says that he doesn't have money. Look, Ricardo, you're freaking bougie. Okay, you have money, bro. Okay.
I'm balling on a budget.
You're a snob. You're a rich snob. So, guys, we're going to talk about Liverpool and Darwin. They said I need to give an apology to a Uruguayan bricklayer. Does he deserve an apology, or is this literally like a broken clock, which is right twice a day? So was he just lucky in his two-piece, or has the Darwin fully risen as a striker? We're going to talk about Lamine Yamal. Big discussion about Lamine Yamal and whether this kid is the next big thing.
Wait until he chooses national teams, please.
No. We're gonna have a discussion. I will try not to jinx him. I'll do my best not to jinx him. But 09 lives. And then let's have this Messi discussion, because a lot of people have been bullying me on Twitter.com by saying that go to doing GOAT levels. All I want to know is that, are we repping Wendy's? If we're repping Wendy's, okay. That's it.
Don't do that, Peter. Don't do that.
Cup food.
Jamal, it's a simple question. I just want to know, are we repping Wendy's and Walmart? If we're repping Wendy's and Walmart, let's get it. Then hands on deck. But we will get there to see whether we're repping Wendy's and all that stuff. So guys, you know what it is. Like the vid. Subscribe if you're new. Get a meal. Get a drink. Ribena, guys. Ribena. I'm going healthy. Get a drink right there. And guys, settle down for the Sunday Hangouts where it's riff and everything. And guys, remember, all the Hangouts are on Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. This is probably the most on podcasting before, because anybody who actually sits down and listens to this madness as a podcast, God bless you, because I don't know how this works as a podcast, but you guys bullied me into making this a damn podcast. So this is what it is. Blame yourselves. And feel free to send in your super chats and your Dubinskis. Your super chats and Dubinskis, make sure that I pay my overpriced water bill, gas bill, and there's a roof over my damn head. So I thank you guys for helping me get my meals, my food, my Uber Eats, and sponsoring my water bill, which is overpriced, you freaking rich snob.
We need you to get that. We need you to get that Uber One. But,
all right, so guys, let's talk about. So it's funny that Jamal has come in here right now, because we're wondering where you've been. So let's start with a certain maybe apology. So I insulted him. So when I first saw Nunez, it was hate at first sight. It was hate at first sight, because the first time I saw him, he redefined the step over. because Nunez was the first man who did a step over in slow motion without any effects, which I thought was borderline doing. So ever since then, again, remember, guys, whenever I come up with a term, I say I come up with a term. But whenever someone else comes up with a term, I give credit. So Casey, I said I give credit for him saying that there's a pandemic with regards to fake Brazilians out there, and just rightfully so, I give credit to Wiseke Jackson. Lukaku is Tim's, and according to Wiseke Jackson, he coined the term Doc Martens. So that's what he's known as. He's known as Doc Martens. And also, Nunez, bro, I see a lot of your shops around the streets, so I think Nunez is actually doing really well. I see more Doc Martens than Sims around. So shout out to Nunez getting that back. So Doc Martens was a guy who said, he an African dude. But this is what I'll say about Doc Martens. He's not a left winger, so a right winger, because he doesn't have the technique to beat his man. He is a striker. And I think that hopefully, with what Haaland did last season, and with what Kane is now doing in the Bundesliga, I think maybe we're now getting back to strikers just being strikers. Because I'll tell you this right now, if Klopp just accepts that this guy is a throwback, old school, rugged, good old striker, and he gets McAllister, Szoboszlai, Salah, and Trent to supply for him, I think Liverpool can cook. I think they can cook. So that's your defense, they can cook. So for Nunez, my insults are fair because you were played out of position and you were exposed for the limited 18% eye test score player that you are. But if you're played as a striker, where we don't need to see your football fundamentals, I just need to score goals, I think this guy he has the potential to do something. Ricardo, what are you saying about El Nez? Can El Nez cook as a striker?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I always thought, look, in the beginning, I laughed at that guy. I thought this guy's a clown. Theory of de-evolution. If I'm being honest, I see a good player in him. Potential. I don't think he has reached it yet, but I can see it. One thing I would say, and I don't know if this is really an unpopular opinion about Darwin Nunez, but I would actually hate to defend against this guy because he's so incredibly chaotic, so incredibly relentless, and he's a fast guy and he's tall, so he's extremely physical.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, so you're gambling the dice on this guy every single time. That should I take him serious? Should I not take him serious? Because he might score. You give him one of these chances.
So you're saying that his brickness works in his favor?
I think he just knows how to utilize his brickness. I think he's aware that he's a brick.
You see, no, that's knowing your limits. I think is a great thing. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnie knew that he's also a great actor, so he picked his roles specifically for that. So I think it's true. If he knows that, bro, basically, Lukaku should learn from Doc Martens. Know your limits and use your advantage.
But think about it. If Darwin Nunez, if we're gonna be honest, all he needs to do is just get the goal scoring down. I don't think anybody really criticizes his other parts of the game because everybody knows, if this guy can just score goals, he's just relentless. Today, I guess it was just one of his non-bozo moments, or maybe today was a day he could show you what he could do. Great pass by Salah. He's he might. I think in the next.
Do you see 20? Okay. Max 20 Gs, 25 Gs. What's the maximum of goals you think that we can get from this dude?
This
20,
season,
25, 30,
this
35.
season,
this season.
I'll be surprised if he hits 20. To be honest, but
in all comps or in the Prem?
Okay, so wait. So
that's a good question.
You had that whole massive soliloquy and everything, only to say you'll be surprised if he hits 20.
Well,
Ricardo.
No, I said it over time.
3 minutes of our time saying what?
No, because I said it. The potential for him being a great player is there. I didn't say the potential for him to be a great player this season. I think this season in the Premier League, no, definitely he's not hitting 20. In all competitions, I could see a 20. I think that'd be a great season for him, but I wouldn't bet on it.
20 no seasons is a great season
for him. I said for him. If
He
Sterling,
plays for Liverpool. Why should we change the standards for him? Why are we lowering the standards for him?
well, I mean,
you
you
play
have
for
some,
Liverpool Football Club, and you are expected of a certain
Underdog
20 in all
complex.
comps.
he's
It's not a
not.
great season. What are
But
you
he's
talking
not.
about?
But he's
What are
not.
you talking
He's
about?
not. He's not. He's not the. He's not the team's.
Wait, hold on.
He's not
Ricardo.
the team's primary goal scorer. It's gonna be Salah. So if you're getting 20 goals as a secondary option, and he doesn't even start, by the way.
Okay.
Ricardo,
Let me get this one. So he plays striker, but he's not Firmino, which means that you're not a guy in a striker that's actually supplying for guys. So you're a striker where your main thing is functions being goals, but you're a secondary option.
Yeah.
How does that work? If you are in that striker position, but you're not actually supplying for guys, so what the hell are you there for?
But that's what I thought. We always criticize this guy for his inability to score goals consistently. Nobody ever criticizes him for anything outside of that, because everybody knows if this guy can just bang in the goals, he's a quality striker. That's his only issue. But I'm saying in that Liverpool team, he's not the primary goal scorer, nor is he a definitive starting player. So him scoring 20 goals in all competition for his level, for how we view him, is a good season. Then we assess next season and see where we go from there. I don't think that's really hard to understand.
Well, look, I mean, people in the streets are saying like you're talking nonsense, man. So that's what guys in the streets are saying. So this is what it is. Jamal, do you agree with Ricardo's breakdown of El Nez?
Yeah, I agree. But I think the starting front three should be Salah, Diaz, Nunez. I think that's a good balanced front three. And maybe Gakpo and Jota could come off the bench. But here's the thing with Nunez. When he don't have to think about it, he's actually a good finisher. The problem with Nunez is when you have to think about it, that's when he gets in his head and the problems happen. But man, I'm not gonna say anything wild, but I think we can get second. Because City is gonna win the Premier League. But I'm watching around the other guys, and I'm watching Manchester United. These guys have major issues. I'm watching you guys with Samuel L. Jackson as your striker.
Okay, so you're saying that you will still get second with Van Disney and Trent, the attacking defender. You'll still get second.
I think so. And European League and second place, I think that's a good season. From where we was last year, that's a very good season.
A quick question to Jamal. You generally think you're going to get second with no top DM? Just the genuine.
Window is not closed yet. The window is not closed yet.
What if Endo cooks? What if Endo cooks? Endo could cook.
And no center
because Goku, man.
Let's be honest. My countryman Virgin Van Dijk looks like a fraud right now. He looks like a fraud right now.
Okay, that's a big pause. That's a big pause.
No, he deserves it.
Wait, Jamal. Okay, so what do you see from Nunez this season? Do you think Nunez is going to? See, I can't even say that shot us all up. Do you think he can be a top tier striker? Because Ricardo said that 20 in all comps is a superb, amazing season for him, which I think is amazing. So if he gets 20 in all comps, superb, amazing, congrats. You know, that's you would commend him for 20 goals in all comps. Because my thing though is, because what's the idea here? So you're saying Salah is still the main goal scorer, but my issue is Nunez isn't Firmino. Firmino can give you 20 in all comps, but do you know how much he's going to assist? Do you know how much he's going to pre-assist? Do you know how much he's going to create? So he was doing more than just scoring goals. Nunez isn't doing any of that Firmino is doing. So shouldn't he get at least 20 or 18 in the league alone to actually prove his worth if you're a striker and all you're doing is getting goals?
I think he can get 18 in the league. I think he's getting 20 all comes because we're in the European League this year, and there's going to be a lot of farmers for him to score. So he might get 20 in all comes, but in the Premier League, I'm going 15. Because I need to see a consistent finisher. It's only one game. I need to see because last season his finishing was horrible. This season in preseason he scored. This game he scored, but I need to see a set of games with him as a consistent finisher. Because as I said, when you don't have to think about it, he's actually a good finisher because them finishes today, you know what it reminds me of? And I'm not saying he's as good or he'll ever be as good.
Stop.
But
don't say Don't say Fernando.
I'm not going to say it, but and sometimes when you watch finishes, when you're running and you curl a team, people say that's an Henry finish. You know them finishes today. That was like Torres, bro. Bro, Torres' finish was actually one-on-one.
No, Jamal, you're
I'm not
no,
saying he's gonna be.
Jamal,
Yeah,
this is what I said in my video. You have
H's,
to
you have to
relax.
listen. No, H's, you have to listen what I said. I never said he's gonna be Torres. I just gonna say the finishes today was like Torres. That doesn't mean he's gonna be as good. Because Torres' finish, if you see what Liverpool was that across the goalkeeper.
But my issue though is that Torres was not just about his finishing. There was a moment in
His
time when
composure.
if it's a 1v1, it's a goal.
It's a goal. Yeah.
Nunez, you can't basically.
Nah, it's not that.
I can put down money that if Torres had a 1v1 at a moment in time, it's a goal. You can't put money down that a 1v1, 100% guaranteed it's a goal from Nunez. I don't think you can guarantee that.
Not at Chelsea.
This was just like two cold finishes that they had. But my thing though is that can you say, oh no, for sure Nunez can do this all season. So apply me, he will be cold. I don't think so.
Yeah, one last thing I want to say, we just need to give this guy supplies, man. Like Salah, McAllister, Diaz, let's feed this guy. Because if we give him chances, he will score, man. So I'm going to say 15 in the EPL, 20 in all comps. That's what I'm going to say.
Right. Sam, talk to me, bro. El Nez.
All right, first of all, Condinho's dead comment right there was the definition of overreaction. Other than this, in the first
reaction over what? Can you be specific?
Okay.
About my thought of a countryman.
First of all, let somebody land and then you can respond.
Yeah, let me land.
Thank you very much. First of all, name me one mistake that Van Dijk made in the Chelsea and Bournemouth game. Thank you very much. Anyways, moving on to Nunez. We need to relax about Nunez. He did very well. If you're gonna put the if you're gonna speak of it in just one isolation of a game, he did very well. I think Klopp absolutely bottled it in the first 25 minutes, but when we went to 10 men, he turned it around. Absolutely turned it around. I thought it was brilliant for him to bring on Nunez in the way that he did, because he said, you know what, we've not controlled it, but we've kind of neutralized Newcastle. Brought him up and brought Nunez on and said, you know what, let's throw the kitchen sink at it. Nunez, and one thing about Nunez is that he doesn't have the technical ability, fair enough, but he has pace and power. What was happening with that Newcastle defense? They were open. Nunez has space to run into. Kick the ball up long to Nunez. All he just needs to think about is one touch, finish. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I actually thought that this guy was going to miss the first chance that he had. But it was a very good finish. The way he curled it in. So I was like, okay, cool. The second chance, I was like, oh my days, he's in. And I actually thought he was going to score, and he scored. Well done. And that's what you call clutch. That is what you call clutch. And to be fair, he does have this clutch gene in him where last season he scored against Man United, he scored against Arsenal, he scored against there was another team that he scored. He also scored against Newcastle, St. James's Park.
Real Madrid as well. The back heel against Real Madrid.
Exactly. So he does have it in him. He just needs to focus on his finishing. And as Jamal said, do not overthink it. Just shoot. And there's a player there. There is a player there. I do think that he needs to start the next game. And the next game is against Aston Villa. So that will show if he deserves to start.
So are we saying, so if you were in charge, Gakpo is a bench player for the season?
Rotation.
I'm not going to change my stance, because beginning of the season, I always said that Diaz, Gakpo, and Salah was our best front three because of what I saw from the second half of the season last season. Now, I always said this, if Nunez proves himself, I would change my mind. But Nunez has to prove himself for a couple runner games. And I'm willing to give him that chance.
Wait, HH, can I speak on?
Yeah, I can go for it. Bro.
Firstly, can you zoom into my AVI?
Oh God, here's the AVI zooming now. Where are you? Okay, there we go. AK. All right. Yeah.
Jason,
life comes at you hard, man. Life comes at you hard.
I mean, we need to talk about. Firstly, before I talk on Nunez, I was telling you some things on the space about Newcastle, about how, I mean, they would cook in the UCL and all that. I take that all back. They're not going to cook anything in the UCL. The only
Okay,
thing they're
after one
no,
game,
no, no, no. I'm
after look,
sorry.
look, look,
No,
they
no.
got it bad. Look, they got it wrong. Are you just being so reactionary here?
No, no. I'm sorry. I was watching them today, and I watched them against City as well. That's the quality of teams they're going to face in the UCL. Here's the simple
Speak
thing.
on that.
Newcastle, when opponent teams sit back and counter against them, they can't retain the ball. It's that simple. These guys can't retain the ball under any pressure whatsoever.
But okay, it's so good you bring up that point, because I also noticed that as well. So is it a case of this is Eddie Howe's instructions of I want you to play athletic, physical, and on the front foot, or the players not capable of? So is it just a thing of like Eddie Howe just giving them instructions of play at full tilt all the way through? Rather than no,
Wait, can I just
keep the ball,
pop in?
break teams down.
Can I just?
No, I think it's the strength of the of the players. That's just it.
Wait, can I just quickly pop in?
Kenny, then it's about who you acquiring, because you have money, you've been backed. So because my thing though is Gordon and what's my brother's name who went to Saudi?
St. Maximin.
Yes, it's a maximum.
Yes, a maximum.
Because you see, Gordon is a very particular type of a player, which I think pretty much typifies what Eddie Howe wants to do. But when you're going up against 10 men, what do 10 men do? They're compact. And from AK's point is when you're playing against guys who are compact, you need to slowly, methodically break it down. If you're just doing back and forth, they're like, oh, wait a minute. These guys are recycling the ball to us. All we need is just one good breakaway, because these guys ain't kicking the ball, and they had it.
The issue about them is, I get the players, like they have Dan Burn in that team. Dan Burn is going to get cooked against any decent right winger. Against Sane, even against Sane, for example, he's going to get cooked against Leroy Sane. Let's be honest. They have players like Almiron, they have players like Longstaff, but even then, the players they have acquired, that squad doesn't have a natural 6, like a natural controller, nor does it have a natural 10. The midfield is Tonali, who's box to box, Joe Linton, who's box to box, and Bruno Gimrish, who's box to box. All three of these guys want to take risks with the ball, and they're not good at retaining possession. Gimrish is the best at it. That's why he plays the deepest. But here's the thing with them. They turn over the ball so much, and then their center backs, they can't play under pressure. Like, give the ball to Fabian Shaw or Sven Botman under no pressure, they'll play the ball well. Give it to them under pressure, they'll falter. That's the issue with Newcastle that I'm seeing at this point. Like, these guys, yeah.
Do you know what it is? Just to add on to your point, what somebody else said it from before, and I had to agree with this. What Newcastle are trying to do is what Klopp was bringing in with Liverpool with their midfield. It's all about running the opponent's team. That's what Liverpool used to do a lot. And if you see the stats on like the runs, kilometers that they've done per game, Newcastle top it every time. But the problem is with Newcastle is that once they play a team, and this is why it was perfect, and I'm glad AK mentioned this. 2 games, Man City and Liverpool. Man City said, we're not going to go toe to toe with you. We're just going to pass it around you. Liverpool, of course, we had 10 men, but Liverpool said, all right, cool. We're just going to sit back, let you have the ball, and we're just going to counter-attack you. They didn't have any second plan B or anything for it.
That's
true.
It
was just that, we can't deal with it.
And what the funny thing was, Newcastle caused way more issues when it was 11v11. So when it was 11v11, Liverpool were open, went to the toe, and Newcastle loved it. The moment Liverpool were now forced to play much more compact, because Newcastle don't really have any guys with the footballing ability to really break down guys. Newcastle were like, oh, what do we do? Because we don't know. We need space because we have runners. We need space. And another key difference here, because to AK, is that when Klopp had runners, he had clinical finishers. Newcastle had chances.
Speak on that.
But Almiron and all these guys, they were wasteful. So for Liverpool, they would run, and when they had those chances, Firmino, Mane, Salah would be far more clinical than the guys that Newcastle have. AK.
Like I look at Newcastle against a team like Atletico Madrid or Sevilla, a team that can sit back in a low block but also can retain the ball. How do Newcastle beat them? Newcastle can't break down a low block, and Newcastle turn over the ball too much, and those teams can counterattack. And when those teams press as a unit, Newcastle can't beat that press well enough. So like that's my thing with these guys. Like you've recruited like players incorrectly. That team needs a 6 and that team needs a 10.
Yeah, and also, sorry, real quick. A key thing as well is the fans. Fans play a massive role. So if you're running and you play the ball forward, those fans will cheer. But if you play the ball sideways, you try to keep the ball, they'll be like, oh. So the fans are actually expected for you to keep running, and turn the ball over because they just want you to keep going forward.
Like, so okay, they do good at home, but away, they'll get cooked away. Let's be honest, they'll get cooked. And on Nunez, I mean, I looked at Nunez last year, and he's like, you have all the physical traits to do well in the Premier League because you're fast, you're strong, you can make runs in behind, you're good on transition, which is everything that the Premier League wants. Now, can you refine your technical ability to a point where against any type of team, even against low blocks, you can, find the space. You have the close control and the penalty box manipulation to, get a shot off. Do you have that? I don't know. This game didn't show that for me. This game showed all his strengths already, but I'd like to see more of him against a low block and see how he does in that type of environment.
You see that previous comment before, Nunez can't link up play, and this is why I always said that I still believe that Diaz, Gakpo, and Salah's our best front three because that's the front three where we're most fluid. Now, I can understand we didn't see it that game, but I think the game in the first 25 minutes was so frantic that we couldn't really have a foothold into the game. But for me to change my mind about Nunez, his link-up play needs to be a lot better, but also he just needs to be very clinical. One thing about Jota, which I don't really like Jota as a player, I'm not going to lie, because he offers nothing other than goals for me. But one thing about Jota that you can say, he's probably the most clinical finisher in that forward line out of the 5 guys.
I agree.
And that's what I want Nunez to do, because Nunez is stronger, he's faster than Jota. If he adds the clinical finishing to his game, he's benching Jota. Sorry, he's benching. So yeah.
Can I just say something quick?
Yeah, Jamal, go for Jamal.
Yeah, I just want to say quick shout out to Sourslide because I like about this guy. He has an engine, but he also has technical ability as well, man. So he's a good mix, and yeah, man. Mark my message. He'll be one of the best signings this season. Yeah.
Can I speak on the game?
Yeah. Can you go for it, bro?
Yeah. First of all, Newcastle. There's a new. There's Bayern have 11 in a row. I saw Klopp has he beat Eddie Howe 11 times in a row. You should be ashamed of yourself. Damn. 11 times with Bournemouth and Newcastle now.
I mean, we can't hold the Bournemouth against him, bro.
11 times though, as a manager, 11 wins, not even a draw.
Not even a draw. Yeah, not even a draw.
That's crazy.
No, you got me there. All wins in a row. That's crazy.
All wins in a row, 11 in a row. That's crazy.
And you know what's so fact? To add on to that fact, it's not even Eddie Howe. Newcastle haven't beaten us since 2015.
Yeah,
damn
years ago. That's I don't know what is.
You can't hold 11 L's in a row. That's crazy. No, that's crazy.
That's crazy. And today was the best. Honestly, after you start the game well, you go 1-0 up, and then they have 10 men as well. Nowadays, because Newcastle, if you want to become a serious, these are the type of games you have to win. You can't be losing these games if you want to be that.
Okay, let me say something crazy. Is Eddie Howe the guy to take Newcastle to the next level, or is he just the guy in place for the guy?
He's the guy to stay
The best way to describe Eddie Howe, in my opinion, and shout out to Tori Joratoma, he is basically the Mark Hughes of Newcastle. You remember Mark Hughes was prior to Mancini, but in the takeover. He's basically just the I would say. Would you say the middle? Not the middleman.
He's a placeholder, man.
No, placeholder. I mean, because I think because my always thing was, I've always said this, and people attack me England don't produce really good managers. Scotland do. Scotland have produced quality managers. For some reason, England don't produce great managers. The last really good England manager, the last great England manager is Bobby Robson, who coached R9 and was at Barcelona and did so for Newcastle and was coached England as well. So, but I just feel that because again, I look at how Newcastle are playing, and I'm like, and AK makes a really good point. This very high octane football thing doesn't work if you want to be an elite team. It doesn't really work because Klopp did the same thing, but there was still a bit of maturity and refinement in what he did. So because again, my hope was, let an English manager really coach a new force and a new power. But I do feel that if he keeps on coming up short against these big teams, the Saudi guys gonna look. Thanks for building it up, but
HH.
But don't you think it's a little too late?
The thing with Jurgen Klopp is that, like, yes, he wants high octane football, but you look at especially his Dortmund side, that team was full of technicians.
Yeah.
That team had technical ability everywhere on the pitch. Jurgen Klopp, remember, he wanted Nabil Fekir and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain ahead of Jordan Henderson. So he wanted a technical midfield three.
Yeah.
I think he never wanted a running.
There's still technicalities there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, Kenny.
Yeah. I think like the Newcastle squad is lacking profile because when you saw the subs, like when you take off midfield, especially, is like Longstaff.
Oh, their squad
and some other
poor. Their squad
like it's poor. Like it's terrible, especially if you want to play on both like Champions League and Premier. Like it's poor. When you see the subs coming in, it's like offensively, it's alright. You have a Barnes and a Wilson, but like in the midfield and in defense, you see have guys like Target and stuff like. You need to upgrade that. That's not good enough. But
guys, do any of you watch the podcast, Antonio and Callum Wilson podcast? Do you guys watch it?
Oh no,
I see some quotes sometimes, but I don't watch it.
Wait,
it's interesting, man. It's interesting.
Isn't Target a shop?
That's so random. That's so random.
Oh, wait. Look. Wise kid, what you think about El Nez and Newcastle, man?
Just remember, you have a fake Brazilian, by the way.
Quickly before I finish, how many goals did Darwin Nunez get last season?
15.
I think he got 9 in the Premier. 15.
Nine.
You're lying. Wait. No. How many in the league? Just in the league alone?
He got 9, I think. Yeah. You should definitely get 20. You should definitely get 20 or comps. 100%.
So he got 9 Gs. That's crazy because the guy with the shade said Haaland was going to be his competition. Anyway,
that was in the past. That was in the past.
We're not going to get into that. Bro, I have to hold my hands up and say, well done. Well done to Doc Martens, man. He did his thing. I'm not gonna lie. After last season, I thought it's just another one of those cases where a big money move for a striker that was clearly overly hyped. The guy, he reimagined the step over. He's the first guy to actually step over the ball, and we actually saw it. like we saw the guy actually step over the ball. There's an art to doing a step over, but he made it look like he made it look like a joke. So after last season, I thought it was finished, and then obviously they signed Gakpo, which I thought was an indication that Klopp was like, well, this guy's clearly not going to work, so I'm going to have a backup. And then at the start of this season, I actually don't know. I don't know. Maybe Liverpool fans can tell me, but I don't know who Klopp's preference is, because it's constantly chopping and changing. So I don't know. I actually don't know who's
I think he like Gakpo, Salah, Diaz. I think that's the front three. Like,
is that purely just because of the link up, the better link up play between those?
That's our most talented front line. If you're watching on technical ability, Salah, Diaz, Gakpo.
But my question is that can the GAC give you what the firm gave you? The GAC can't give you what the firm gave you. That's the issue.
He's the closest thing. He's the closest thing, but out of the...
No. But what's not like? I don't want the closest thing. I want the real thing. You know.
But the
real
thing.
That's funny.
You have to look at it like this. You have to look at it like this. You're not gonna get a Mane, Firmino, Salah thing like that again, really and truly.
No, but which is why if you're not going to get that, don't go for the closest thing, reinvent it. Because I believe that the gap is so far away from how good the firm was in linking play. You might as well just reimagine the team and play Nunes as an out-and-out striker and get Salah and all these guys to feed him as an out-and-out striker rather than trying to
Can you
recreate
stop giving us
a
nicknames?
B-Tech
Sorry.
version of the film.
Bro, you can't.
Can you stop giving us nicknames? Sorry.
You can't.
Just
you
stop
can't-
giving us nicknames.
Bro, you can't call a grown man the firm, bro. I'm sorry. You can't call him. No, you can't call him. You can't call him.
Okay. All right. Mean.
But I tell you what, you know why Darwin works. He works perfectly for these kind of games, like this kind of shit house brick games. Like he works perfectly fine in these chaotic scenarios. That's where he thrives. Like that's it, bro. In technical tiki-taka passing games, this guy looks. Oh, he doesn't even know where he is.
So basically, what you're saying is that he's a classic throwback Premier League striker, basically. So basically,
he's PNP inside.
Bro, it's like a lighter version of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, man. like
Floyd was good, man. Hasselbank was good. What are you on about?
Relax. Well, so Jamal, relax. I was trying to compliment your guy, bro. Relax. But he works perfectly in these games, and the way the game played out at the beginning played into his hands. Like I don't think he would have played if Van Ora didn't display what he displayed and got himself sent off. Van Ora should, just as a side note, he should just stick to Ora defending. When he's like close proximity with another defender, that's when it goes all wrong. So stick to just being an Aura defender. Don't do the whole Ramos thing. Like, you're not good at that. Just stick to being an Aura guy. But
Waski, quickly, do people actually think it wasn't a red card? Because I'm saying
no, it's not. No, Kenny, only Liverpool fans, only delusional Liverpool fans. Bro, he took him out to lunch and didn't pay. He took Isaac out to lunch and didn't pay.
It was so obvious. I'm sorry, that was borderline intentional. Like he tried to make it out like it was an accidental challenge.
Wait,
but
no,
that was
no,
borderline intentional.
No,
Sorry.
it wasn't that because it was a red card. It was just because he was the last man. That was it. He just took him out.
No. Look, it was a foul, but the red card was he was like
it was
if he didn't do that, Isaac was through on goal.
Just last thing on Newcastle, by the way, bro. These dudes, Almiron should have had at least a clear two-piece. Great save by
He's
Alisson.
from Paraguay, bro. But he's from Paraguay, so what do you expect?
Wow.
Sorry for my Paraguayan.
That's crazy.
Wow. Bro, why does South America catch strays, man? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
But great save by Alisson for the first Almiron chance. That was an insane save.
That save was stupid. That save was stupid.
That was an insane save. So great save from him. But Almiron had his chances. I thought Isak was quiet. But the problem with Newcastle is depth. I know someone spoke about depth. Bro, they're gonna struggle when those UCL games start kicking in. They're gonna struggle because once you get injuries for those big names, if fatigue is a real thing, bro. Like, it's gonna kick in, and especially the way.
I think it's not even for fatigue, but I think it was a point that AK roses that you can't just get stuck in the UCL. Get stuck in and running in the UCL, bro. You need a bit of test. Like, it works with degree, but you need to mix it up with some technique. The issue with Newcastle is it's so much about passion. There's too much passion in there, I think that you have to mix passion because passion is great. Because Liverpool against Milan, 0-5 UCL final, that was passion. But you had a bit of technique there as well. You can't just be 100% passion, bro. And I think the issue with Newcastle is the way you've built your team. Bro, you have money. Why don't you have like a holding midfielder? Why don't you have a bit of technicians? Like, shout out. Now, this was a bit like someone on YouTube said this. Shout out to the Commissioner Gordon. But
very good. The flash.
Someone on YouTube.
Wow.
But Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner.
Right, Commissioner Gordon is strictly just PNP.
I mean, he was cooking Trent though.
Commissioner Gordon is strictly PNP.
Is he even PNP? Does he have any power?
No. He's P.
Yeah, I think he's P. Yeah, he's P.
Hold on. Can we speak about this Bruno thing? Because Gordon cooked Trent once, but after that, what did he really do?
What do you mean? He was literally cooking Trent for the entire first half.
Yeah, he was giving Trent some headache, man.
No, because I'm saying that because he was on a yellow card and
should have got a second yellow.
He didn't do after that supposing second yellow. Fair enough, but after that, he didn't put Trent under any pressure to attack him because he was on a yellow card and on the last warning.
Is this when he made the mistake when Trent made the mistake for the goal?
But H, back to your point. Yeah, so he's P. He's P. Continue.
Yes, you're getting your timeline wrong. You're getting your timeline wrong.
Okay, let me go. So Radis, really quickly. So what happens to your boys? So guys, in case you don't know, Radis studio lives next to the stadium of Newcastle. So he's a United fan who lives in Newcastle, but is also a Newcastle fan who's also a fan of Real Madrid. Like it's weird though. So RDS, what happened to your boys? How come you dropped the ball to a 10-man Liverpool and they allowed the most chaotic human beings to
nah.
Just as an aside, it's really weird how somehow after all the games played, Chelsea is still 10th. It's
don't do that. Don't do that. No one has spoken about.
Stop trying to deflect, RDS. Stop trying to deflect.
RDS, there are 3 games played, so
it's just interesting. So that's all. Anyway, now, I'm surrounded by a lot of angry Geordies, of course. So a lot of Geordies are I don't know how we lost that game, basically. So and Newcastle should have won that game. Nunez came on 2 shots on target in the I think the only 2 shots that Liverpool had in that second half, and they scored 2 goals. Fair enough. What I will say is, because I think a lot of people are writing off Newcastle a bit too early. So I'm talking about Eddie Howe. I agree. I think Eddie Howe's game management was not great. Taking off Gordon. Maybe Gordon and Tonali, I think, wasn't the best. Should probably have kept them on for a second goal. I think that's fair enough. I think it's a bit too early to say, he's not good enough for Newcastle, etc. Especially when I know a lot of people in this panel rate Emery, and yet he cooked Emery 5 goals. And no one says Emery's a bad coach or whatever. So.
But Emery has a resume, bro. A very, very good resume.
But the point I'm trying to make is I get that, but the point I'm trying to make is that we're not gonna He literally put 5 past Villa. So to then sort of say that now because of this result, Eddie Howe now suddenly is a bad coach, considering the fact that in the first season he took a relegated Newcastle team to top 4. We've got to remember, we've got to look at context to remember Newcastle shouldn't be where they are right now. It took Manchester City how many seasons to be able to be in a top 4 situation? The fact that Newcastle,
that's true.
That's what. So we're already thinking the Newcastle expectation is they should be now competing for Premier League trophies. It's been literally 1 year of the Saudi takeover.
Yeah, they're ahead of a schedule. They're ahead of schedule. Yeah.
If you ask a Newcastle fan, they're not oh my goodness, we should be. Why aren't we competing for the Premier League, and the Champions League now? It's bro, we were literally almost relegation fodder for a while. So you need things should be contextualized. And the only other thing I'll say is that, squad-wise, to be fair, this is still a Newcastle side that is still finding itself, that still needs to obviously sign people to bring depth of squad. But the reality is that we know that they'll if they need players, there's probably going to sign maybe 1 or 2 players in the summer. They'll probably sign 1 or 2 players in January. And I know facts are, I still think that they probably have a greater depth of squad than even United or Chelsea, for example, when you see the team and you see the balance and you see the chemistry in that side. So essentially what I'm saying is it's a bad result, but I think that it's good that this result happened now, because no doubt that the players, Eddie Howe, etc., they're going to learn from this. Because for me, if you're a Liverpool fan, to be honest, a part of me is I'd be even more worried you're a Liverpool fan, because that Liverpool defense is ass. And you need to sign players. But now, FSG, Klopp, etc., are going to be we don't need to sign a defender. We don't need to sign a 6. We're good. We're good. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. Because for a fact that, yes, okay, Newcastle didn't take advantage of the back for weakness. But that other teams, imagine if it was Matoma instead of Almiron.
No, but Ardis, there's a flip side to that coin. To quote De Niro in Heat. The flip side is Klopp. Now he may not realize this, he may not, but Klopp may say, wait a minute. If I implement this plan B of if we are compact, we have the
Speak
personnel
on that,
to
Ethan.
counter that. So if Klopp can be like, wait, let me try and implement this more. So maybe this was like a blessing in disguise of like, because like we are so porous defensively, let's actually sit back a bit more, allow guys to come towards us because we have the players to counter and execute. And thus, it could be a recipe for success.
I guess that's fine. I mean, I guess Liverpool do probably have the players to break, because obviously there are going to be teams that aren't going to do that. Most teams aren't going to allow Liverpool to counterattack because like they're obviously the favourites, so they need to like break down low block. But obviously Liverpool have the players to do so. But I still think that against when they do their Europa League run, and obviously against teams in top 6 or 7, that they still are going to see issues with their defense. But we'll see what happens. But
can I just say one more point? I think the whole defense, our defense is bad, but I think the whole defense being crap is being a little bit overblown. And the reason why I say that is because we've conceded 3 goals in 3 games, right?
You have injuries as well, though. That's
the injuries. I understand. That's why I said like we need to get a centre back. But the 3 goals that we've conceded have not been because teams have outplayed us. It's literally because we've made individual mistakes. The goal today, who was that from? Trent's mistake.
Salah and Trent. Yeah.
The goal that we conceded against Bournemouth, who was that from? Trent's mistake. The goal that we conceded against Chelsea.
I see a pattern here.
Yeah, no, but do you get what I'm saying? It's just individual mistakes. It's not like we're getting outplayed. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't get it, but I'm saying obviously teams are going to be like, right, well, if we're going to attack, we're going to like I said, like when Matoma basically made Trent look like he was an infant last season. Like teams will see that. They'll be like, right, if we're going to get at Liverpool, we're going to get Trent Alexander-Arnold because we know he's got B-Tech defending, and Van Disney will do his thing. So that's the point I'm trying to make. They know where you're most vulnerable. If you're not going to reinforce that, then you can.
All right. Let me quickly take basically that we move to our next topic. Shout out to your boy AR, who is an Arsenal fan that I believe is now a Real Madrid fan. If you're relying on Joelinton and Longstaff, and wait, hold up, is there a player called Target?
Yeah, Matt Target.
Yeah, bro, oh my god,
he's
the left back. Target.
From Southampton.
They have Longstaff brothers.
Bro,
No. Okay, look. Now, don't attack me for this and everything, but please don't attack me. I say this in good faith. Should a player called Target be allowed to play in the Champions League?
Jacob Murphy as well.
But yeah, they have Murphy, they have Lascelles.
Okay, so if you're relying on Joelinton and Longstaff Target to beat Liverpool, then I'm not taking you seriously.
Well,
Eddie Howe's on my fraud watch list. See, look. Eddie Howe, don't you dare call him a fraud. No.
Longstaff is a crazy name if you think about it.
Bro.
Okay.
Ricardo, when you hear the wild names in the countryside of England, bro,
I'm giving him a nickname. What's the nickname for Longstaff?
There's
the long.
Forget the
staff.
The staff.
Oh my god!
What's going on?
No, H. Forget the countryside. There's a Brazilian in that dub called Joe Linton, bro.
No. Did you know what's so funny? I was convinced this guy was from the pub. I was convinced this guy was from the pub. When I said, bro, he's called Joe Linton. This guy's a brethren. That's a brethren.
That's a brethren. He's a brother.
Have you heard Isaac talk lately?
Yeah.
I saw it. Isaac is speaking like some London
guy. What's funny is that listen to his first interview when he joined Newcastle. Bro, somebody has been influencing him, that guy. Bro, that guy talks like a roadman.
Bro, he is.
A roadman.
How is a decent coach, but this agenda of trying to play English players will get him sacked. How Tuchel, Arteta, Ten Hag, and Poch, who goes first? Ooh, panel. What are we saying? Who gets sacked first?
That Dutch fraud.
That Argentinian.
That's it.
Arteta.
I think they said they want to extend Ten Hag's contract.
Ten Hag goes first. Ten Hag goes first.
No, actually, I think Pochettino will go first. Actually,
You obsessed with
Look
Chelsea,
at this
bro.
guy.
You obsessed with Chelsea, you know.
Yeah, obsessed with Chelsea.
Okay. I mean, so Ricardo, if you had to pick one, who goes first out of that crew? How Tuchel, Arteta, Ten Hag,
I
Poch?
think the Tuch.
Yeah, I think
I
the
was-
Tuch as well.
You see,
I agree with that.
the issue with the Tuch is that look, Bayern are
The
going to do
Bundesliga is too easy.
But
Yeah, that's true.
I see a scenario where Tuchel somehow starts messing up a bit. Just that Kane is going to cover up all of the mistakes. So he's just going to keep on stats padding. But if I was to, you see, here's my thing though. If it's Poch, then Lord help us. If Poch is the first goal, then because
you need to look at the average time these clubs give their coaches. So if you look at them like Arsenal, Bayern, etc., they give their coaches at least 2, maybe even 3 seasons. Chelsea, it's like less. It's like a year and a half.
But the thing with Tuchel is that it's new. Like the guys that they didn't hire him right now. The guys, so it's new people. So if he start messing up, they might sack him.
It would be crazy if Ten Hag gets sacked. That would be a bit crazy.
I'm here for it.
That would be crazy if Ten Hag gets sacked.
We will be there if Ten Hag gets sacked. We will be there.
No, I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there.
No, you would. Wait, shout out to Hassan. Fowler, best finisher in Liverpool history, clinical. Better than Pique Torres?
I never see Fowler. Also, since I'm watching Liverpool, the best clean finisher was Torres. Yeah.
Fowler was,
you know who was good as well?
Fowler was good.
You know who was good as well is Sturridge, man. Sturridge was a good finisher.
Yeah, was
if I was to say, because I saw Fowler peak Torres, he never missed an 1v1.
Yeah, but
he was cold, man.
Can Pique Torres do it after a line of coke?
Oh, but you always have to say something like this.
Fowler celebration. Yeah. Okay, so guys, let's talk. So I want to come. So let me come first to Ricardo with this, man. So Ricardo, it's a very simple question. I know that you're a history merchant and everything. Like you're a teacher, you teach kids. You've got like a master's. You're an education merchant and all that crap. Can you name a 16-year-old who has been more impressive than the men?
Don't do it. Nickname already.
Don't
do it. What have you done?
Lamine Yamal.
Chelsea are going to be relegated. I'm just praying to all the
because remember, Pele was 17 at the World Cup.
I hope the Nigerian Football Association disbands.
Yeah, win on 90.
What have we done?
Okay, that's not necessarily the trash anyway.
Has it been a 16-year-old who looks more impressive than Lamine, Jeremiah, first of his name, Yamal?
Technically, in Barcelona's history, there was a player named Alcantara who was 15 and he was scoring like crazy. So, yeah, that's the answer.
Nah, drop the brick hedges. I'm sorry.
There's a player in Barcelona's history at 15.
Ricardo, I heard you.
Like
Ricardo, you don't need to correct the mic. I heard you.
I mean, so what's the answer you want? How are you going to ask a question to get one answer you want?
Ricardo, I thought
that's not the answer you wanted.
I thought your answer would be something that would make, we are right. The reaction shows that was a brick answer. Ricardo, nobody knows who Tara Kukli is. Ricardo, we've not heard of Tara Kukli.
Well, you should, because you've been alive since freaking dinosaurs.
Ricardo, give us a name that we know. So, let me much more impressive 16-year-old. Some dude from the roads of Catalonia named as Takarakiki. Now, talk to me about Lamine Yamal.
What is there to say? I told you last time that he's the best product since Lionel Messi, at least on the forward end, and you dropped the brick, which kind of further points that you have no ball knowledge. He kind of just is what every Barcelona fan has been saying. Like, this guy he's the next special talent out of the academy. He's the best talent since Messi.
Should he? Is it too much that he should be starting, or has Javi's hand been forced because the alternatives are the fake Brazilian Rafinha and other trash and garbage? And because here's the thing, he's 16. That is, and not 16 going into 17. He's going to be 17.
Yeah, he just
next
turned
July. He just turned 16.
Yeah.
Isn't it a bit crazy that a 16-year-old is now a bona fide starter? Because what should happen is let's slowly break him in. But the issue though that you have is that he generally is better than Rafinha. He generally is better than Ansu Fati. So he's actually generally the best 11 that Barca have.
Okay.
But do you think that this could be harmful for him being thrown in so early as a 16-year-old?
Okay, well, he's not better than those players. He's just playing better than those. That's two different things.
So Rafinha is better than Lamine overall.
There's a difference between playing better and being a better player. Anyways, the kid is honestly just starting because of circumstances. Rafinha got suspended because he threw a spinning elbow like John Jones, and he got suspended. Dembele decided to just backstab us last moment. So, and he's the only left-footed player on the team that can play on the right side.
You don't need to put some extra sauce into it. Just say he decided to move to PSG. He doesn't have to put in the backstab. Okay, that's a little bit of sauce, but
How did Johnny Bones end up in this one?
Anyway, he's everywhere, man. He's the GOAT. But yeah, so I think for him, I mean, he's definitely our best performing forward. And if you want to put in those wingers, you should also put in Lewandowski too, because he's terrible. I mean, what really is there to say? I think he shouldn't be a definitive starter.
No. This is the discussion I want to have. Is it? Do you see? Oh, this is the next big thing. This truly could be the next superstar, or it's too hard to say because it's too early because he's freaking 6. Remember when Messi broke through in the first, he was what, 19, 20?
17.
Well,
no, he was 16. He was 16, turning 17.
Hold up. When did Messi have his first full day, like senior day debut? How old was he?
I think he was 17.
He wasn't 16. He was 17.
He was like 16, 17, because there was like preseason too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, like his first, I guess you could say 17, one or the other. But I guess that didn't fit his agenda.
What did he do at 19 at the walk? What did he do at 19?
No, I don't care. He got it anyways. No, like to my opinion, this kid's the truth. Like, I know people are gonna say it's La Masia hype because they had Balde, Gavi, and all these guys before him. But no, this guy, he's definitely
good. He's doing it. This kid's good.
But as I'm saying, if for Barcelona fans who have been following this guy, like he was already making noise within the academy, within the club before he even debuted. So like this guy was already expected to be the player he was. Yeah, I think he's genuinely special. I never thought, like, for example, Gavi was like, I thought he's a good player, a good talent. I didn't think he was exceptional in any sense. I think he's a good player to have on a team. Balde as well. I think Balde more so has surprised people of how quickly he adapted to the first level.
Yeah.
But no, Lamine Yamal has genuinely came in with hype in the academy, went to the first team, and has performed. So that's why I took my stance that he's the best talent since Lionel Messi in the forward end. Because I think if you want to be honest, who's the best talent to come out of La Masia, then technically after Messi would be Busquets. But yeah, I guess you could.
Sergio Roberto.
Thiago.
No, bro.
Well,
Sergio Roberto must still pay child support to
Yeah,
Neymar.
Thiago's a good show, but he never really he didn't succeed at the club, so it's a bit different to assess him. But yeah, no, this kid's special. Like I genuinely do think the kid is special. I think he's
what's his ceiling? What's his ceiling? What was it like? Let's talk about real talk. What's his ceiling?
I think he can be one of the best players in the world. I think he can be the best player in the world.
That's a big shout.
But we look at
but is it still big? Because you say it's a big shot. He's 16. By the time he becomes 21 and 22, who are going to be his peers? Endrick, Musiala.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it's completely different. That's why for me, like the world he's coming into, Messi Ronaldo will be doing like freaking retirement home adverts and everything by the time this gets 21, 22.
I doubt it.
No,
I don't know.
Messi, yes, not CR7. CR7 will still be playing.
If you look at him as a player, he's a right winger. He's left-footed. Barcelona have had success.
Can you ban Bing, please?
Oh no, I will. Continue.
Anyways, he's a left-footed right winger. Like, but you don't think Barcelona have a blueprint of how to develop this guy properly? I mean, they just had Messi. They're gonna have, now. Obviously, there's a little bit on Messi that he evolved himself as a player. But if they can guide Lamine Yamal to, the appropriate way, manage his game. Like this, the sky's the ceiling for this guy. Like
but what I just, because look, I don't remember. No, I think I do. Messi at 16, 17 isn't what I saw what this kid is doing. I remember how good Messi was. But what I just find so scary is, as a 16-year-old, bro, the guy was easily the best player on the pitch. Villarreal are not scrubs.
But I think what you're forgetting but you're comparing him based on who he had around him. Let's be honest. Messi was playing around far better teammates than what Lamine is. Like, so in a sense, it's not that hard for Lamine to stand out when you have an underperforming Lewandowski and Ansu Fati who has no confidence, and Rafinha who's trying to make MMA debuts.
And a fake Torres.
And yes, that too. By the way, I told you,
Torres has
HH,
been
HH, I told you, mental health tax, Ferran Torres redemption season.
Wait, hold up. So when he does the celebrations, that's because of mental health?
Probably. I wouldn't put it past them.
Hell no.
No, but on a real note,
this
guy's a clown, man.
Lamine Yamal's his potential is completely dependent on him, because I'll be honest, when he plays, when he goes down the wing, when he cuts in, I'm seeing shades of Messi in the way he takes on play on that left foot, like a young Messi, like when he was like under 21. So I mean, he has a blueprint of a player who's played at Barcelona and how to succeed on that team.
Okay, wait, hold on. Before I go to Messi, last thing. If you were him, or if you were advising him, Morocco or Spain?
Spain. With that level of talent and
anti-African hater.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna be honest,
I didn't say anything. Continue. I didn't say anything.
But no, I mean, Spain, they've found a style of play.
It's a bit difficult, the Spanish FA, though, right now.
I know someone's going to mention that. I know someone's going to
Rubiales? Wait, hold on. So, Ricardo, you now support a sexist.
Yes, Ricardo, I do. Yes, I do. I think he should go on and continue.
Okay, wait, hold on. So, Ricardo, so let's just be clear here. So, listen. So, Ricardo, you support men grabbing women on the street and kissing them on the lips randomly. That's what you support.
Well, yeah, essentially, I do.
Ricardo, your mother would be sick. I'm going to call Mrs. Oyema and say your child is wilded. Casey, talk to me about Mini.
Also, remember what Spain does to the Africans.
Easy, guys. Easy.
Wait. Casey, talk to me.
I'm begging you, please just leave the kid alone. He's just 16.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know what he's gonna do.
Pause, relax.
No, Casey. My thing is that I'm shameless.
Don't be like Benzema.
No, Casey. Here's the thing. Okay, look, Casey. If I wake up one day and for some reason I see flashes of Drogba said it's a disgrace from 09, then I don't give a crap about a damn teenager.
That's
so it depends on how.
Get over it, HH. 09 happened.
I never will.
Deal with it.
I never will. Casey.
Yeah, but it's just a sad affairs of like the way this club is running. If a 16-year-old is your best attacker, it's just sad. Like actually.
But shouldn't that be something that I should fully prepare? Wow, we have a 16-year-old.
No, because this is what's probably gonna happen. He's gonna be overplayed. Then he's gonna get injured, and like it's gonna shorten his career. You don't play. Okay. Yes, this is what happened with Ansu Fati. No, hold on. Habu. Look at what's happening with Pedri. He got injury prone because again he was overplayed at the age of 17 and 18. Same with Ansu Fati, and my fear is that they're going to do the same with Yamal.
There is actually something to be said whereby, because I've noticed like quite a lot of players, that have been the Simpsons that have been playing regularly, that have been picking up a lot of injuries since, and on top of that, with the actual game, the amount of games that are being played as well, and the timings and stuff like that. I think, Case's point, there's something to be said about.
Also, ideas. The issue is that he's actually borderline carrying the attack. Lewandowski, bro, I'm telling you, this guy needs to go to Legia Warsaw.
You guys are disrespectful, man. That's your striker.
No. Jamal.
By the way, Habo.
Jamal,
Vita Hook just scored a.
Sorry.
Vita Hook just scored a goal against with 10 men against with Fluminense. So I hope they somehow just get him before the window ends.
Okay. So is the Hook gonna be a starter come January then?
At least he can give some competition to Lewandowski, because like this guy, this guy has zero competition. I think like Xavi doesn't like using Ferran Torres as a striker, so like there's no competition.
Wait, how old is he? How old is he?
Who?
The guy from Brazil.
He's 18.
Oh, so 18 and 16 year. That's gonna be your front line.
That's sad. Yeah.
Is this Neverland FC?
This is Neverland. Gabi as well over there is young. Like, I don't know.
Gabi needs to go to Morocco, but that's...
So what do you think his ceiling is? How good can this guy be?
Bro, he's 16. I don't know, Mike. If he's like even anywhere close to Robin, I'm happy, because there are some similarities, like the way they play.
That bum.
Okay. Why do guys keep doing this, guys? Okay, let me say this again. Robin invented.
Don't you dare! Oh my God! Don't you dare!
No. You need to stop with that narrative, man.
It is logically impossible for any inside forward to be better than Robin, because Robin is the reason you're an inside forward.
Don't do that. You know it was Cristiano.
It was Cristiano, bro.
Casey, this is how it works. You can't be as good as a pioneer. You can't.
There's a bold tax, man. There's a bold tax.
Can I
be as good as the pioneer.
Casey, I'll go to Casey. Continue, Casey.
Can I also speak about the fraud we have as a manager? He's starting Marcos Alonso. When the second goal went
by the way, in 2023,
I think my blood pressure went up. I'm not kidding, Habo. I actually shouted like, this guy, man, like.
No, Casey, don't worry. Alonso to United is on. Fab says,
I thought it was Cucurella.
No, they getting Cucurella.
No. Fab tweeted Vamos. Alonso to United. He says Vamos.
Why would he say Vamos?
Exactly. No. He wanted to appeal to the Spanish.
He's Italian.
International.
Nah, you're
okay. Buongiorno. Ciao, grazie.
What?
That's Italian, you break.
What are you saying?
That's Italian, you
break.
Why
Italian? So he said,
Drop a break.
Casey, Cameroon or Morocco for Lamal, if you were saying anything.
Cameroon or Morocco?
Cameroon or Morocco?
Sorry, hold on. So Casey, what's it called? Morocco or Spain?
Morocco,
Spain. And Casey, remember, we are an ethnic minority, so.
What's going on with Eto as well with all these match fixing?
I mean,
can you just mute your mic?
Casey, that's the only time he's ever used we.
It depends, because I think Morocco are playing a bit of a defensive football, right, AK?
Yeah.
Oh, we're playing it right now, but the manager.
Casey, Casey, let me.
No, because I think for his style, right, I think Spain is better because they play position-based football.
Casey, who will love him more? Who will show him more love?
Morocco after the Spanish FA.
Yeah, I'm not entering into that discussion. I'm just saying from a footballing point of view, it just makes sense.
Okay, so now you want to talk football, but so Casey, you pick and choose. So one time it's political Casey, now it's football Casey. Casey, choose one. Either you're political Casey or football Casey.
No, but from a footballing point of view, it makes sense for him to play for Spain because like he grew up in La Masia. The styles are similar, right?
Well, the kid grew up in Spain, like.
So.
No, people switch. Didn't Hakimi play for like the Spain team and then he chose Morocco?
There's a thing of come back home, know your roots, know your heritage.
Let's keep it real.
Let's keep it real. Hold on.
What type of players comes back? What type of players come back?
The only players that decide to play for their parents' home nations are the ones that couldn't make it to the national.
It's the ones that fail. That's the truth.
What is it saying?
Look at Hakimi. Hakimi played for the Spain youth team and he chose Morocco.
Let me just make this point. You're not going to go where you are celebrated, not where you are tolerated. Spain will tolerate him. Morocco will celebrate him. Nigeria will adore him.
make
Sure.
But where is Nigeria coming?
Nigeria.
How
First
is
and foremost.
But doesn't
First
he?
and foremost.
Wait, but the first
First
thing
and
is like,
foremost,
Wait,
where's this same energy for Saka, who decided to play for England instead of playing for his homeland?
That's a different discussion.
I'm
That's a
sorry,
different
like that's the
discussion.
truth.
Bro, the entire French team is full of French
Yeah,
players
that's
that
what
were
I'm
born
saying.
in
Wait,
France.
wait.
Let's keep it real, man.
Ricardo, that
Wait,
was a
HH.
Euro.
also have a the colonizer
They were still
even
born in
even the
France.
colonization thing doesn't work here.
HH,
How
can I speak on this?
the colonization thing also doesn't work here though.
Wait,
you are an up and coming prospect.
Al Muhad tax, Al Morawid, Al Muhad tax.
Wait.
Hold on. What's what are you saying?
You are an up and coming prospect, right? From Nigeria. Born and bred in Nigeria, came over to England. And now you take your talents to France. You go through the PSG academy, you break into the PSG team.
Okay.
You get the option. Play for France or play for Nigeria.
Can I respond?
Of course.
I will.
No, wait. Before you respond.
And my thing is
your principles. Remember your principles. Respond.
And my thing is, I have to respect identity. Waske, do you think me, knowing my makeup, I will play for a colonial power?
Yes.
Yes.
Waske, do you think? Waske, do you think?
Hold on. Morocco. No, hold on.
And my thing is that my thing is that Lamine Yamal, you've seen how these guys deal with racism. You've seen how these guys deal with women. You've seen how these guys deal with women who are not allowed to lock their locker rooms and everything. Who knows what they do during showers? It's probably inappropriate. That's creep. So you know how the Spanish FA roll. Why would you want to play for a football federation that's full of creeps rather than represent Marrakesh?
I got a question.
Can you respond to Wing? Can you respond to Wing though on that?
I got a question for you, right?
Wing needs to relax.
Did you?
I'm not even bringing up.
Yo, Wing is crazy, man.
I'll come to you, Zima. AK, talk to me.
So I think, look, he's a 16-year-old. You don't want to put the most pressure on him, but from what I've seen, he looks very good. I can't lie. Not just his dribbling, because you see a lot of players who come in and can dribble past people, but his decision making is like very mature for his age, and his delivery, like that first goal. There's not many wingers, even in world football, who can deliver a ball quite like that, because like that delivery, it went into a dangerous area, the perfect amount of dip, the perfect amount of like spin on it. So like all of that is something that comes naturally to you. You can't learn it. So I think he's an incredible prospect. So I think the only problem is Barca need to know how to manage his minutes, because you don't want him to become injury prone like Pedri or Ansu Fati. And knowing how Xavi uses youngsters, I don't know if that's the case, because like Xavi will start him like a lot.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
But that stunts his growth if he's playing so many games as a 16-year-old.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So I think he can. I think if he's managed well, he can be a really promising talent. But we still have to see. He's only 16.
To be honest, as maybe as the medic on the panel, I don't know why in football they don't have like aggregated time, because when you're young, your muscles, bones are still developing, are still growing, and if you have a major injury, that can actually cause problems later on in life. And it's not uncommon for footballers to get like really bad like arthritis, for example, like when they get older. So it would be interesting. Obviously, people are different, and this is the thing. Like everyone's body shape different, etc., and different ages, so it is different. And obviously, ethnic background also plays into that as well. But I do think that there is something to be said about like instead of like with someone like instead of you're 16 years old, you're 15 years old. Instead of saying right, I expect that this guy's going to play in, week out, you say right, no, he maybe only plays 50 minutes We may only place half of the games, and you kind of slowly but surely build that up as opposed to shoving that in. Because I just don't see how it's healthy for essentially teenagers, because that's what they are, to be playing intense, regular sort of football for their growth and bone development. I just don't think it's right.
Like, especially if you now take that to the UCL, which is like the top level, because bro, like, are you gonna playing for all 6 UCL games?
No, exactly. So but the thing is, it's the situation. In a serious note, like, it's going to get worse, because when you now look into the fact that FIFA is going to bring in the Club World Cup qualifiers for those games, there's going to be, obviously, there's the UEFA Nations League. The amount of games is going to be from next season in the Champions League as well, going from like 6 group games towards it, like, aren't they playing like 8 or 9 or something on top of other things? So, like, would any Barca fan really be surprised come next season when there are so many more games to see, Yamal end up getting injured? Would you guys be surprised, considering the sheer amount of games that are coming?
No, not really.
Can I
So
speak
hold
on
on,
the,
let me just Zima.
Yeah, I do worry about that, because I feel like even Xavi as a manager, I question him when it comes to doing the best
Questioning your
for
legend?
no as a manager. I mean, doing the best for the player more so than what he wants in terms of results. Even like Getafe, nobody thought he was gonna get game time because of how physical that game was, but he was forced into giving him game time. And I feel like sometimes Xavi, if things don't go right, he usually tries to bring in all the forwards he can that he knows that are game changers. So that aspect I'm kind of worried about. And then him starting for Cadiz and Villarreal, even though Rafinha getting himself injured, Rafinha injuring someone else. I mean, with the way this guy's spinning and whatnot, he's gonna come back next game, but I'm not sure that Xavi's the type to like develop play or start Rafinha. I mean, Ferran is even better off the right.
Wait, so you said that he's going to persist with the 16-year-old over Rafinha?
No. I think if push comes to shove and Rafinha is dropping a disaster class, I think he's going to try to force him into it, because he doesn't even rate Ferran, who's been good off the bench. Like, and Fati is a lost cause to him. So for him, it's like he only sees him as an option. Now, the only thing I would say is that, Xavi's talking about we need another forward, or we need even though there's a forward that's supposed to be coming in January, I kind of worry about the development aspect. Because let's be honest, there's been players of the past that we could look at that have become injury prone because they played at a young age. You can even look at Wayne Rooney. Like, Wayne Rooney became injury prone because of 2 reasons: because he didn't take care of his body, and because he's playing at a young age. You could even look at Fabregas. Fabregas ended his career at top flight. At top flight at a young, at the age of like 30, as soon as he hit 30. Now, when it comes to Yamal, I do think he's an exceptionally talented player. I don't think he's like, I don't think he's like, I don't think he's the next Messi, but I do think he's the most gifted talent that we've had in a long time, and he is the most gifted talent if you exclude Busquets, who made his debut around when he was 20 years old for the first team. So I do think he has a high ceiling, and he is our best player, but you have to manage him right. You can't expect him to bail you out every time, which says a lot about our attack. Lewandowski, man, Lewandowski is useless. He's become a bum, bro. He's become a problem. He's become a defender for the opposition at this point. Like, the guy's playing against us. Like, I mean, as Benzema would say, the guy's playing against us. Like, that's something that we, you have to take your time. And I do trust Laporte, because he was responsible for the development of Messi when he was young, and he was, Barcelona did ease him into it. So I expect him to know how to handle an extremely young talent. Now, that's Laporte and his management staff. I know they have a history of that with Messi, and I'm expecting them to do the same when it comes to him. Now, in terms of declaring which nation, I'll be honest, Spain is probably the best for him. I mean, he grew up in that system terms of playing. He grew up in the Spanish ranks in terms of playing.
Spain over Morocco? Why can't he help?
No, that's because stylistically he fits them. Not to mention majority of the players at Barcelona play for Spain. So it's not like it's going to be like it's not like it's going to be something new for him. And plus, Spain already have a young core that's going to be around him for a majority of his career, hopefully. So I'm thinking, like, in terms of development, it would be Spain, if anything. But again, it's about taking care of maintaining that talent. And Xavi, I mean, once he sees red, he's going to be reliant on Lamine Yamal. That's what I'm worried about. More than anything.
Z-Man, sorry, one quick question, just relating to Lewandowski. Who do you think will score more goals this season, Lewandowski or Nicholas Jackson?
I knew he'd go there. I
You
knew.
know what's funny. You know what's
how
funny.
did I know that?
You know what's funny.
Which
Let me
side
answer
is
it.
this simple
Let me
question?
answer it. Let me answer it. HH. At the second half of
And
the
no,
season.
Zeman, keep in mind that that we can still get a striker. Wait,
No. HH. I respect the Nick. The Nick has actually outscored Lewandowski in the second half of the season.
He's called Kojak. Kojak.
Yeah, Kojak. I respect Kojak. He's outscored him in the second half of the season, Lewandowski statistically. After the World Cup, that's when Lewandowski's age started showing. So I don't know. I don't think he's gonna score that much if I'm being honest. Because I'll be honest, man. Chelsea, do you expect him to consistently score? Just because you scored against, a kitchen staff doesn't mean that he's gonna consistently score goals for you guys.
Wait. Don't let Kojak drop a 3-piece in his next game because I will be shameless. Don't let Kojak drop.
But it's against Wimbledon.
Wait, HH, can I speak on the nations part?
Yeah, go for it. Okay, speak of the nations. Go for it, bro.
I know I'm coming from a point of bias, but I'll be completely honest. If he chooses Morocco, I'll be very surprised. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Because here's a simple thing: Spanish media will be head on heels for this kid. They'll do everything to pressure him to go to Spain. Let's be honest. They'll put him in the media. They'll call him up for the next Euros. And we just don't have that same clout internationally. So, I mean,
I heard his father's a proud Moroccan.
Yeah,
so he could probably influence him.
Yeah, I think he may.
No, because my thing is that do we know the dynamics of his family and his parents and where his head is at? Because we don't know. Because again, it's too much. It's too big a pressure or decision to make for a 16-year-old. But what is his family dynamics like? Do they feel more ingratiated to Morocco or to Spain?
Like he's not fully Moroccan. His father is Moroccan and his mother is Equatorial Guinean. So that may play a part in it. But I mean, I would like him to choose Morocco. I honestly think that as a federation, with the higher trajectory, I think we have a slightly higher trajectory than Spain because I think we won the U23 AFCON. We got the final of the U17 AFCON, so we have a good youth group there. And there are a lot of talent. Apparently, after the World Cup, a lot more talent from Western European countries are looking at playing for Morocco and Algeria. I heard players like Amin Gouiri and Cherki are looking at Algeria over France and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's up to him. But let's just see.
All right, let me quickly hit this Dubinsky's, man.
Shout out. Someone needs to put Wing in timeout, man.
No. Football crew, I'm just ignoring the thing saying Yamal must choose Spain or Spanish FA will kiss his mother. Okay. All right, football guru. Thank you for that, man. Thank you for that great admonition. From Wing, Alonso and Kepa playing for big Spanish clubs is sick. Spanish tax. Look, how did Alonso get that Barcelona?
No, that's you want to know why? 2 reasons. Financial reasons.
His dad.
Xavi's ID, man, and his dad has something.
No. I think the bigger question is.
Heritage tax. We don't know what the wicked question. Where are you going with this?
No, why is Roberto playing for Barcelona? That's the main question.
Oh, Sergio Roberto should still be playing child support to Neymar. Neymar gave this man a career. Guys, let's be real. If Sergio Roberto doesn't score that goal, does he still have a career? If he doesn't score that goal in the remontada, does he still have a career? No, he doesn't. That singular goal still means that this guy can still somehow come up off of the bench and look like a complete clown as a sub.
You know what's even sticker, right? This guy's our captain.
You're lying. What?
Yeah,
Catalan tax.
Of course, yeah.
Wait. But don't Barca have 5 captains? What order is he in?
4 captains. He's the 4th, I believe.
Okay, so guys, comedy time. Kelvin's a hero. Oh God. As for Arsenal, their performances are self-sabotage. Arsenal better be giving out free counseling sessions with his season tickets next season. What? Kelvin Terrero, thank you. Thank you.
HH, have you seen the video of KSI and Haaland? And it was a video of KSI saying, "You ain't winning the Premier League, you ain't winning the Champions League, and you definitely ain't winning the FA Cup." And how it fell back on his face.
Do people
I don't know
still
if you
watch
saw- I don't know if you
KSI?
saw it.
Well, they watched Logan Paul, man. So yeah.
I don't watch KSI. Shout out to him. Well done, Disney Plus,
It's just
bro.
a clip.
Well, I mean,
It's a clip.
AK,
It's a viral clip.
AK,
Viral
he's the
clip
only
going
dub.
around.
He's the only dub Nigeria been getting lately, anyway. So they have to
That's
watch
true.
it.
That's very true. That's very true.
No, but it's true. Well, yeah, Alan he shut him up, bro. But Abdullah, why didn't Haaland ball in a UCL semi or UCL final though?
He's still got a trouble. Put your trouble on the table.
No. But why did he get disaster class in the UCL semi, UCL final?
Does Drogba have
3
a treble?
games,
Does Drogba have a
0
treble?
goals, 3 games, 0 goals.
Does
Okay.
Drogba have a treble? Does Drogba have a treble? No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does. Obrigado,
Abdullah,
Brazil.
how many goals is he away from breaking
Wait,
Drogba's
hold on.
Premier
Let
League
me-
record?
Not very
Obrigado,
far. Not
Brazil.
very far.
Wait. Did Bellingham already match the amount of goals Hazard scored for Real Madrid?
Yes, he did.
No.
Apparently
Hazard
so.
was
I
the
think
best
it's
player
4.
at the World Cup. Yes, Hazard was the best player at the World Cup. Brahim Diaz and Lamine Yamal would be great additions for
No,
Morocco.
please don't give me Brahim Diaz. No, please.
Wait, hate on Diaz. Look,
No.
for me, I feel Yamal should go for Morocco, bro. I think that's the right decision. Okay, look, last thing here. Ricardo, who has a better season this season? Bellingham or Mal?
You're telling me
Come on.
who has a better season?
Who has a better season this season? Bell or Mal?
You're comparing. Oh my god.
Ricardo, answer the freaking question. Don't be such a bloody. It's a bloody question, bro.
Yeah, it's a
Stop playing.
dumb fucking question.
Wait, who's Mal?
Who has no? Wait.
He's
Wait,
trying to
let me
give a
just-
nickname
let
to
me-
Yamal,
let me
man.
just insult this dude. Ricardo, who
Bellingham,
has
there, Bellingham.
a better season for their position?
Okay, I'm gonna say this.
Jude Bellingham or Lamine Yamal? Choose one player. Is that fair, or should I go slow?
HH.
They can
Ricardo
take-
Ricardo doesn't understand non-UCL speak. So
Yeah, no, it's kind of hard. Not only that, but can someone get this old man his medications? I think. First of all, I hope.
Actually, wait. I think it's funny. I actually turned 19 on October 4th.
Sure
so
you
I
did,
don't know
buddy.
what I'm talking about, bro.
Sure you did, buddy.
Ricardo,
All that age at 19.
it's those dry fries, man. It's a dry fries.
Yeah, it's a dry fries, bro. I'm surprised. I told you he was gonna get hiccups at some point. Anyway, look, I hope that Jude Bellingham has a better season. Because if you're gonna tell me Lamine Yamal is gonna have
Is that
a
your
better
medicine?
season than a 100 million plus player, then I don't know.
Oh, Ricardo, you can't do that. Ricardo, you can't do that.
You
can't
asked
do that.
me. I told you.
You can,
Jude.
no, you can't do that. You
We
can't
have to
use
have
price. No,
conversations about
hold on.
England.
Ricardo, you can't use price as
Of course
a
you do.
reason to now. No, you can't. No.
I got a
No,
question
no,
for
no.
you, HH.
In a vacuum.
Uncomfortable question for you.
Just keep it in a vacuum. Who has a better season? Don't say, oh, he should be. Who do you think? Okay, let's
told
say
you.
Yamal.
Okay,
let's say
forget the
Yamal
price.
plays.
I
Let's
just
say
told
Yamal
you.
plays most of the season. Who has a better season?
Okay, but now you're operating on a
Performance-wise.
hypothetical that we haven't seen yet. I don't expect Yamal to have a full season because he shouldn't be playing a full season. I expect Jude to have a full season because they spent an enormous amount of money on this guy and he's expected to perform.
Ricardo, and I'm giving you a hypothetical. If Yamal
relax, shut up,
gets
ASMR.
if Yamal plays a full season, who has a better season?
Okay. I hope Jude Bellingham does.
Bro, what is this?
Wait. HH.
Why? Who has a better season, Bellingham or Yamal?
Bro, go to the next part. I'm not answering.
No. HH. I want to ask.
Kenny, who has a better season?
Actually, what is wrong with
I'll
you?
answer.
I'll answer.
Come on, man. Bellingham is gonna have a bad
Hold on.
season. Man.
Streets. Do you know this? You know, I'm gonna have to just. It's a simple question. Just give me an answer. Oh, but what if
HH,
hypothetical? But maybe.
Bellingham,
We don't know. But it equals MC squared
It's
Einstein.
gonna be
Carry
Bellingham.
the flow of the fluid. Water plus
Come on.
photosynthesis H2O.
HH,
Just
you have
ask the
to
question.
Photosynthesis.
you have to
This guy's a
HH,
brick, man. Drop the brick. What is that?
Hold on. HH, spell photosynthesis.
No, Ricardo might be right about the medication.
Bro, he'd be lucky to spell photo, man.
Shout to Miss English. She was dealing with depression. My biology teacher. It is what it is. Miss
Why is
Ingle, I
everyone
love
dealing
you,
with
baby.
Wait,
depression
Miss
in
who?
school, man? That's crazy, bro.
Miss Ingle.
Everyone's dealing with depression in school.
RDS, what are you saying? RDS?
I was just saying, HH, like, you've got to give patience to everyone on the panel, but also the chat as well. So because in the next couple of days, like they're not going to understand what you're saying. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Just bear that in mind. You know what I mean? So,
No, a better question. Why
RDS, that was below the belt.
Why are you jinxing a 16-year-old when you
Wait,
talk about
no,
football
hold on,
being dead?
no, Zima,
That's
hold on.
crazy.
RDS, that was below the belt.
What can I say? You're going to be doing a stream, and your clubs are going to be.
Wait, HH, go on.
People are going to understand what you're saying on the stream.
You're gonna have to go on Fiverr and look for those caption people, man. Go on Fiverr and find somebody to do those captions, bro.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not hiring someone to start doing sign language and everything that I'm talking. That's not happening, bro. That's not happening, bro.
Oh, Jesus.
You guys are losers, man. Elijah, who was a better season? Min or
HH, I didn't come for that.
We've moved past. Okay, maybe you can come back to that topic afterwards.
HH, I'll answer that for you.
Yeah, answer for me,
it's gonna be Bellingham. Bellingham.
It should be Bellingham.
Yeah,
it has to be.
It has to be. There's no argument.
HH, up to a certain point, I don't know what's up with Barca fans on X. I guess that's what it's called now.
Twitter.
Okay, Twitter. But people are out here flexing child labor. This is child labor. Why is that child on the field? He's a child. He's under 18. He's a minor.
Yeah, fact.
Ridiculous. Here's my thing.
You didn't have to break it down like that, man.
Hey, Elijah, who's your best talent? Is it Curtis Jones?
No. I'm not talking about talent. I'm talking about
Ricardo, KCSC, but you guys are using child labor. That's sick.
No,
wait, baby,
that's
aren't
messed
you?
up. No. So no. Zima, shut up. So first of all, Zima, shut up. You cheated online by paying the referee. You hire a guy who now cooks your accounts for several years. Now you're involved in child labor. Infantino, get off your lazy fat ass.
HH, you're the one that's giving a nickname to a youngster, a minor. You're giving a nickname to a minor, and you're also. Let's talk about your part of the problem.
If you didn't cheat, I do nothing. But you cheated online.
But HH, how can you say in one hand that football's dying, and once we have a good talent, you're all of a sudden you're trying to jinx him? It doesn't make sense. You want Holland to succeed. That's what you want.
Hold on. Let me hold on. I wasn't trying to harass Barca or anything. I'm just concerned because seeing a guy like Xavi, I don't know, man. This Xavi is like that substitute teacher that gives out assignments and he's over assigning Yamal. I'm fearing he shouldn't be playing this much. Like, give him some cameos here and there, but I want Yamal to develop because it's going to come to a point where these young kids are going to start burning out by 29, and that's what we don't want. That's what
Factos. Yeah.
We don't want if you
blame FIFA and UEFA.
Literally, if you're depending on a minor to possibly win you games, I'm concerned.
No. It's wild. It's as well.
Because then it's gonna. I'm gonna say this. But because then it's gonna turn into Freddie Adu tax, and that's what we don't want.
Elijah, we were all so the lie on Freddie Adu. They said he was the next Pele. I don't know what happened with Freddie Adu. We're also because Freddie Adu, he never even started.
I gotta be honest.
But didn't Bellingham start at like 16 as well, 15 something?
You know the whole Freddie Adu thing is that. Remember, Freddie Adu was pre-social media. So my thing is that we were just sold a lie because if there was social media, we were like, wait a minute, you know that this guy doesn't have a single comp. But we were told that this is the next Pele.
It was Pele because that Pele was hype.
So you young kids don't. So this was during the dial-up era.
This was
MP3
dial-up.
Yeah.
If you want to compare,
he's 19.
If you want to compare Yamal to anyone, it's if you want to compare Yamal to anyone at Madrid, it should be the Turkish guy Gula, not Bellingham.
I dare Madrid to overplay that guy too.
You compare him to Yamal, not Bellingham.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he's already injured, isn't he? So.
Oh,
he's injured right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Okay, let me make this Dubinsky, man.
By the way, Habib also gave him a nickname, if I'm correct.
Who?
Bro, relax.
Gule, right? You gave him a nickname.
The
Ghoul. He got injured.
Bro, he hasn't
the Ghoul. Ghoul. Kevin Torino. Arteta must let all players go out to a brothel after the game and they won't score. Rice was the man of the match against the Plumbers. Arsenal, the Invincibles, more like the Unscorables. Sorry,
you didn't have to read that, man.
The only
Shout out to Kelvin, man.
No. Kelvin, here's the thing. Kelvin just reminds me of Joaquin Phoenix in Joker, bro. He keeps going.
Nah, chill out, bro.
Relax.
Mental resilience, man. Mental resilience.
Kelvin has sent about 20, 30, 40 dubs. Only one dub made us all laugh. There was one dub that,
that's how you make it to the top, HH. Mental resilience, man. That's how you make it to the top,
No.
You don't let a bad night.
No, but here's the thing. Like, obviously, he's working on his material, bro. Kelvin, don't you dare go up on a stage, bro, because still keep working on that material, bro. Because trust me,
Calvin, follow your dreams. Follow your dreams.
The success rate is not there.
19-year-old, 60-year-old.
Wait, you know what makes it better? It's the grammar. It's outstanding. May must be crazy, bro.
As Arteta May must let's all.
Is this on par? Is this on par with?
I think you use past tense, present tense, future tense, and past participle in the same thing.
Is this on par with Yasir's takes?
Yasir tense.
Well, football guru Goretzka McTominay pivot defines masculinity. Hashtag top. Hold up. Please send us plan and us going for
McTominay
in exchange. Like Tuchel has an obsession with the ex Premier League. I don't know what he's got.
You know what's going back to that hotel's job. Tuchel will be the first to get sacked. Tuchel's getting the sacked.
Hey, you never know, man. Max Sauce might cook in Germany.
Yeah, Max Sauce might.
I dare Tuchel to win the Bundesliga with Premier League players.
Wait, hold on. So Kevin Torre again. Declan Rice is like a car without petrol. Only Arsenal come in and leave the title race within 90 minutes. Rice can't use what's... Oh, okay, Kelvin, come on. Let's not...
Okay, I laugh.
Let's okay.
Yeah, that one was alright. That was not that bad.
You don't need to be graphic if you're not getting the laughs. That's just crazy. Okay,
no, he's getting the laugh, man.
No, but you know what's funny?
No, that was nice.
Understood.
He's getting the laugh. Let's keep it real, man. He made you laugh. He made you smile.
That's why it's funny, but that's the only joke I've understood so far.
Like I said, mental resilience, man. Be a bull, man. Mental
resilience. Okay, Ricardo, is your mic working there?
Yeah.
So Ricardo, let's now keep it a stack here. Are we repping Wendy's?
No.
Yeah.
So
Elijah, come on, man.
Now, so guys. Oh wait. Hold on. So let's keep you all updated. Apparently, 4.5 million people went to Times Square to watch Inter Miami against New York Red Bulls. They said that
4.5.
nobody could pass through, and also they said that De Niro was there, Scorsese was there. That racist prick. No, that's racist adulterer rapist Woody Allen was there.
Yeah,
Spike Lee
people
was
were
there. So they said that New York came to a standstill because 4.5 million people stood in Times Square to watch Inter Miami against New York Red Bulls. They said that Messi's impact has been crazy. The amount of DMs I've received of Messi's amazing pass in the game against Red Bulls is going crazy. But all I ask is this: we must keep the same energy, Ricardo. And Ricardo, this is specifically for you.
Okay.
If we clown Cristiano for dropping a 2-piece against Alakazam,
Three-piece.
we must also clown.
Three-piece and
we
an
must also
assist.
clown
Three-piece and
Messi.
assist. Three-piece and assist.
Three-piece and assist. Get it right.
Fine. So if we
Respect
clown
Alakazam.
Cristiano
Respect Alakazam.
for a 3-piece and an assist for Alakazam, we must also clown Messi for dropping a masterclass against Wendy's.
Well, you don't
So,
clown
Ricardo,
the player. You clown the competition.
should we be taking? How should we be receiving what Messi has done in the MLS so far?
Okay, look. I'll be honest with you. I'm not really in the mood
Receiving
today.
what he has done is crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not really in the
Yo,
mood today.
shameless. Oh my god.
Ricardo.
Okay, I'll be honest. I'm not really in the mood today just because I got drunk yesterday. But I don't care.
No one. Oh, thank you. Makes sense. No wonder why you've been.
Nah, I'm low energy today. Bro, it's post retirement. Like sorry, it's pre-retirement. What Messi is doing, I don't sit down on my couch and be like, oh my god, is he gonna cook today or not? I know he's gonna cook. I know.
No. Okay. Do you know is it that you know he's gonna cook because of how good he is, or because of how crap the MLS is?
No, it's because of more so how good he is. Like, let's be honest. Let's keep it a bit.
Okay,
Like,
so we're repping the MLS. Okay, all right.
no, we're not repping the MLS. I want everybody to understand.
This guy still sounds crap, by the way.
There's two different things. Like, the MLS can be a decent league, and Messi could just be an exceptional player. I think, like, it doesn't mean that the MLS is shit because Messi is just crip walking and tangoing everything on these on these American dudes. If you want to have that serious conversation, this is just my opinion. Messi left Europe as the best player in the world, and we're only like 2-3 months removed. Are we having are we ever? I don't think we're ever going to have the conversation, but it's a scary convo to even think that one of the best players in the world is currently playing in the MLS. And when you have that scenario, this is what you get. Now, I don't think you ever judge MLS on the basis of Messi. Messi is an anomaly of a player. I think anybody, even if you hate this guy, you could agree to that.
Oh no, who don't want to hate Messi? Come on, who hate? Oh, apart from Cristiano
No, where's my boy Nomad? Is he in the background?
Yeah,
where's Nomad?
Look, it's just look.
I need to see Nomad versus KC again.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
Yeah, yesterday was a classic.
Yeah, that was
bro. Wait, they went at it yesterday. I didn't watch.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
The geography of streets is bad. Like,
it's very bad. Okay, like India is more than Mumbai and Delhi. You geographical clowns, bro. So
yeah, I'm seeing Bollywood bash and Bollywood,
royalty.
bro.
That's what I'm hearing, bro. That's crazy.
Look, what Messi is doing in the MLS, I'm not gonna lie, I expected him to do that. Like, he's a significantly above.
Why didn't he do this in Uber Eats?
Because the French league, despite how much we shit on it, it's actually a quality league comparative to like the other leagues around the world. If you're a top 5 league in the world, the 5th league is actually good. Like, let's not play this whole.
Yeah, but it's the 5th league. It's the 5th league.
Oh my god, it doesn't matter. It's still a good league.
Ricardo, he left one farmers league to go to another farmers league. He never went to Serie or went to the Premier League. Serie and the Premier League are more difficult.
When
in
are
my
you talking?
opinion, than the league.
When was it ever difficult? The Premier League isn't difficult now unless you play for a team not named Man City. We just left the Juventus dynasty era.
So why did he go Serie A? Why didn't he go Serie A? It's better than
who was gonna afford him? Who was gonna afford him, bro? Like, just shut up. Like he was.
You don't like what I'm saying.
No, I'm not like look,
Copium.
like money tax, salary tax, man, salary
Bro,
tax,
you're
salary
reaching.
tax.
Like, just stop. Like, what he did in Spain when Spain was actually the best league in the world. He doesn't need to go to that bum ass fish and chip league where everybody with broken and bad dental hygiene. Like, so nobody, nobody needs to go to the Premier League.
Yo, respect dentists, man. Respect
No.
dentists.
Anyway, to an extension to Cristiano, look, great player. He's gonna bang his goals in, bro. Like the team he plays on, they spend an insane amount of money on a supporting cast around him. The least I expect this guy to do is continue scoring goals, which he is doing. Credit to him. He's probably going to reach 1,000 goals. Great. This is probably what he wants to accomplish. I say more. It's the quality of the league. You reinforced his teammates around him. And as a result, we're seeing his teammates now, they're exploiting the hell out of his goal scoring ability against lower quality opposition. It's no different from what Messi's doing at Inter Miami.
Artists, what do you have to say about Messi dunking on America and Wendy's and Walmart?
On America. There's enough. I think the only thing, like, because obviously, it was obvious that, I mean, come on, didn't Zlatan dunk when he went there? So, like, it's not like it was unexpected that Messi, who's a far better player than Zlatan.
No, Zlatan didn't really dunk though. Let's be honest. Zlatan.
He's got a lot of goals. He's got a lot of goals when he went there, bro.
He couldn't even
get when he was pushing 40.
Relax. He couldn't even get past the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, but the thing is,
He wasn't no Jovinko or place like that.
Did he score a goal from the halfway line?
Respect Jovinko.
Yeah, but the context is that Zlatan was 38. This is the point. So
with
it's like,
two knee surgeries, brother. Two knee surgeries.
Exactly, two knee surgeries, and the guy is still scoring basketball skills. That still says something, man.
Bro, no, guys, sorry. MLS is trash, but I'm sorry. That's sorry. This league is trash. I mean, with all due disrespect, artists, continue.
Like, even Wayne Rooney, you know. So and that was like Belly Rooney as well, man. You know.
So, Belly Rooney is crazy. Belly Rooney, that's a crazy.
Yo,
so we're saying that Ibra with 2 grenaded knees and Belly Rooney cooked in the MLS. That's crazy, bro.
We've unlocked 2 new characters, man.
Continue.
So given that context, it's no surprise that Messi, who's obviously a far better player than both those guys, and you could argue, you know, and still well back.
Okay, let me ask you this though. Simple question. Do you respect more what Cristiano is doing in the Saudi League than what Messi doing in the MLS, or do you disregard both because neither is in Europe?
No, why are you doing this?
Yeah, I can't. Well, disregard, like, I don't know. I like this thing. I don't disregard it because at the end of the day, like, these are two fundamentally highly motivated athletes that are still playing football. Yes, it's not the highest level, but, you know, like I said, Ronaldo is 38, Messi is 35, 36 now or something. You know, so the fact they're still playing football, they're getting their bag, fair enough, they're enjoying it. Like, these two players have had the most, you know, in terms of longevity, like, there is literally no comparison. So, you know, I don't see any ways as to say, oh, Messi balling the MLS or Ronaldo balling in Saudi Arabia is going to have any effect on their respective legacies. Like, they're just obviously maximizing their exposure and probably thinking about what life is going to be like in retired football. The only thing that I would say, and this is not really about Messi per se, but maybe comparing the two leagues, is that, like, and maybe the Americans on the panel maybe have more insight, is that, like, I do think it's a bit worrying that, like, given how much, because, like, the Saudis have just started investing in their league for the last year, 2 years, etc. Yet the Americans have been, since, ironically, probably since Beckham actually came, because he was the original kind of like superstar, and they've been investing since. So I do find it a bit worrying that, especially with a World Cup round, that, like, your domestic league, despite 2+ decades of, like, continuous investment, like, is still effectively seen as a farmers' league. Like, where's all that money going towards?
No, because they don't care. Like, America, because this is the next convo I want to have. Which is that.
But that's not a good. That's not a good comparison.
This can be so easily explained.
No, let me.
Let artists land.
But when you also look at the I know the structural things in MLS. I'm not ignorant to that. Like I know things like pay to play and stuff like that as well. So I'm aware of that. So it's not like I'm completely ignorant. But like in fairness, when you look at like the Saudi like league, like the Saudi even national team, like remember the World Cup, a lot of those players that played in that when Saudi dunked in Argentina actually played in the Saudi league. Now, when it comes to the MLS, like how many of the Americans, like homegrown talent, actually play in the US national or good enough to play in the US national team at that level?
Just the defender,
The
who
defender.
gave away the mistake that led to
So,
the equalizer against Wales.
Matt Turner was an
So the point is that like for all the we can for all the investment for the duration of time that this has been, like the fact that like we're still in a situation when people are dunking on it, tearing apart, like I don't know what Messi was going to do his thing, that's fine, but as soon as Messi goes, it's like, okay, so what's gonna be the state of the MLS, especially with the World Cup going along? I don't see it. Whereas at least with Saudi, I'm thinking, okay, potentially now I can see their long-term 10-year plan, which is beginning. I must admit, but I can see what it is that they're trying to build. I don't exactly know what the MLS or the owners or people who are running them are trying to build with this project, like, because it's not worked for the last 2 decades. That's my point.
What's where you wanted to add
You
something?
said which project hasn't worked the last 2 decades? The MLS or the Saudis?
The MLS, because obviously the Saudis have just started investing.
Well, it has worked when you consider the level of the MLS is higher than it was 20 years ago, and the league is self-sufficient. At the end of the day, this sporting thing is a business. The MLS is not just gonna find the biggest tech billionaires in Silicon Valley and be like, "Yo, spend all your money on these MLS team on players who don't want to be here and are only here for the bag." Like the Saudi thing, I've already spoken on this thing a million times, and some people get their panties in a bunch. This thing is not self-sufficient. It's just backed by insane amount of money from black gold. The only teams in this league that are being reinforced are 4 teams. 4 teams. And these 4 teams, 3 of which are the most dominant teams in this league before Cristiano Ronaldo arrived, and they're going to continue being the 3 most dominant teams when Cristiano Ronaldo and his the other guys come in. The best teams in this league got better. The other teams, they didn't get better. The gap between the best teams and the shit teams in this league is much bigger now. I don't know why people think you just pump a whole lot of money into this league.
Yeah, but Ricardo, we're comparing one season, 1 year, versus like we already know like long term with what the Saudis are doing with their investment in golf, with investment in boxing. This is going to be
the
like
entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah.
Also, Ricardo.
They're not gonna like all right, okay, after year 1, year 2, like
No,
we're just gonna
for
stop
sure.
spending
But
money
I'm
or something
saying
like that. That's not the
spending
case.
this amount of money is never going to be self-sufficient, and they can keep doing this because as long as that black gold is there for them to just distribute to the rest of the world, they're always gonna be able to do this. But point is that you're comparing a league that prides itself on being a self-sufficient league, which if you look at almost every American league system, they've successfully been that. Whereas when we look at the Premier League, when we look at other leagues, like you've allowed foreign investors into these leagues and completely ruined the market. And now you have situations where you need financial fair play, and it has reached Spain. Now teams can't spend all the money in the world. And we've said this many times on this channel that the way football is trending, it's not sustainable because we've allowed all this.
Oh, can I speak on that?
But the MLS will always be sustainable because their model works. Now that's as a result, maybe we won't see the MLS be at the top, but just for the sake of history, God forbid 100 years from now, the MLS is actually one of the top leagues in the world because of the long stance of being a self-sustainable league.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take that.
Okay, Casey.
Yeah, I have I saw yesterday a lot of like Inter Miami shirts and all that. But
bro, I saw where I was, again, people don't know where I was, but where I am in a random place, I saw a guy with an Inter Miami jersey. Wait, how did an Inter Miami jersey come here in this random place I'm in? But yeah,
London.
Bro, I know a few people who made like $600-$700, like they were selling tickets. Like it's insane. And but as for like self-sustainability, right? I think Ricardo is 100% correct, because if you think about it, Premier League is also not self-sustainable. Like self-sustainable means like you are spending based on your revenue. So to give you an example, I think Brighton and Newcastle have almost the same revenue, but look at the comparison, like difference in spending. So the way the football is going, right?
So basically, you're saying that there's going to be an implosion eventually in all these leagues because they're not self-sustainable.
So can you repeat that again? Sorry.
So do you see these leagues imploding because they're not self-sustainable, unlike the MLS?
I think football as a whole will implode. Yeah, the way it's going, yes, it's going to implode.
You look at Man City now, for example, with the amount of money they spent initially with the Abu Dhabi, etc., with the time they've now, when you look at obviously what they've invested into the academy, and now the amount of money they're making, selling the academy products, as well as obviously the merch, etc. Man City are now becoming a self-sustainable side. So it's more like, yes, okay, you're going to spend 100 million, maybe $1 billion, for example, in the first couple of years, but you're not just spending that money just to sort of throw it away. You're spending it because at some point.
Let's be honest. No, let's be honest. First of all, the sponsorships that City has, like, does anyone here actually believe the money they're getting?
That's
like,
all
how do you get
Abu Dhabi money, bro. That's
yeah,
all
right.
Abu Dhabi money.
It's like it's like my cousin has a company and he's investing in my company, and I'm like showing it. Oh, I'm actually.
No. Look, see, nobody is following fair play in the Premier League. Nobody.
No, but
Newcastle do that too. Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle. Yeah.
Newcastle.
I think one of the sponsors is like owned by PIF.
Yeah, the shirt sponsor is a PIF owned like shirt company in Saudi.
So
and that's why.
How's Todd B spending his money then?
No, let's be honest, man. No, let's be honest. He found holes in the FFP, and now he's
but he has taken a massive risk, right? He has given 9 years contract.
Doesn't Bowley own part of DraftKings betting
high
site?
reward.
Can I just say something?
Yeah,
let's be honest. The whole. I think it's a mask of what people say. FFP was designed to stop your berries and stuff like that. Let's be honest. We're all here. We're all the top clubs. We're Barca fans, Chelsea fans, etc., etc.
Chelsea.
Me as a City fan, I couldn't care less of a lower league club going bankrupt. That's their problem. If my club goes bankrupt, that's my problem. It's my club's problem.
But don't you want all
no.
HH. Because you do need a league.
This is why top European leagues are not competitive.
No.
It's survival of the fittest. It is survival of the fittest.
Well, I mean, it's kind of easy when you're like Man City and you start up your character.
That's why.
That's also all money tax. Hold on, Zeman.
HH. My thing is, if you're a club owner, why the hell would you care about the rules for a league? You care about your own club succeeding. Why the hell would you care about that? At the end of the day, my job as an owner, what I want, it's my own personal interest for my club to succeed. So, like, at that standpoint, you have to look at the FAs and you have to look at the people that actually make the rules instead of looking at the people that are, finding holes in the rules and exploiting them. If anything, this just exposes the problem, and this is actually a problem. Todd B has actually exposed the majority of these rules having like too much holes in them and being easy to overcome, even though he's playing a high risk, high reward type of situation with signing like 18-year-olds and orphans. But aside from that, like I look at all these leagues, and you guys talk about how the Saudi league is competitive, the Saudi league is this, the Saudi league is that. I even heard comments like the average Saudi player is better than the average MLS player, which is insane to me. Which is insane to me because you guys are looking at the stars they've signed for four teams and making up your opinion of the league.
Let me ask you. So are you saying that top to bottom, so that MLS is a higher quality league than the Saudi league, top to bottom, Zima?
Yeah. They have more portions distributed in terms of quality compared to them. You could say the top four are better.
So as of right now, August 28th, 2023, MLS is a higher quality league than Saudi Pro League as of right now.
Yeah, it's more competitive.
Overall, yeah.
Yeah, so the average
more competitive. I said which is of a higher quality league.
The average MLS team is probably better than the average Saudi team. That's what they're trying to say.
Yeah, the average MLS team is better.
This is what I was saying last time, and I had 3 dudes try to press me on this.
No. My thing is, if you're talking about the average quality, don't you look at the whole league as a whole? You don't look at the top 4 and think, oh, that's the average quality. That's not the average quality. How's that average?
Why I would say in the defense studies, I do think that they will produce, like their league domestically produces better players on the national level than the MLS does. That's what I. That's what
No,
I
it doesn't.
That's based on one game versus.
Bro, that's not true. You can't do that.
If Argentina and Saudi play 100 times, I guarantee you that result does not happen more than
but
10.
the Saudi national team isn't that.
No.
What I mean, so what the MLS like for America, for the USA, for them as players that like play for national sides, that play for national team.
Even throughout the years, like Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey came from MLS.
I'm gonna keep real. That argument doesn't make sense because if the Saudi had talent like the US, and majority of them were outside of the Saudi, you don't think they would get into the team? Because that to me, my whole point is everyone's saying, "Oh, look what they did in the World Cup. What did they do?"
Besides Christian Pulisic and Giovanni Reina,
they got knocked out
all
in the
the
group
US
stage.
players.
What are we talking about, bro? What did they do?
Hey, RDS, besides Pulisic and Reina, all the US players went to
Argentina
MLS.
is winning the World Cup.
Okay, let me ask this question to the panel then. If the Saudi Pro League continue to invest, that's a caveat, they continue to invest, in 5 years' time, do we see the Saudi Pro League being of a higher quality than the MLS? If the Saudi Pro League continue to invest.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
The money they're investing, I do agree that if they were to invest money into this league, which they've already done, at some point, yes, they will surpass the level of the MLS, right? But my question to you is, where is this money going? If this money is only going to the 4 teams, how can a representation of 4 teams conclude that it's the better league when the rest of the other 14 teams are not of the same quality?
You see, I hate Ricardo. I dislike him. He pisses me off, but I can't argue with that viewpoint. Because the fact that 4 teams come under one umbrella and literally they are completely separate from the rest of the league, I think is crazy. What the beauty of the Premier League is, everybody eats. A team in 15th and 16th earns more money than like a 4th or 5th placed La Liga, Ubris, or Bundesliga team. So the whole point of the Premier League was like, no, everyone eats. Because we are creating an ecosystem where, as if you get into this ecosystem, you will benefit greatly. If you're 10th, 4th, 15th, 16th, 17th, you're going to benefit. So I think for the Saudi Pro League, my hope is, and I don't know what the plan is, surely you've got to spread the wealth, because you can't have a situation where 4 teams are in cahoots with one another and passing along players. Oh, you won't have to say, oh, we'll take this player.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, Habo, and there's an issue, right? Like, how long are the Saudis going to invest? Like, this is government money. This is not. I know you can say oil or all that, but
they have unlimited money.
Hold.
No, they don't. They don't have unlimited. Listen, China is a much richer country than Saudi Arabia. Even they stopped.
After what happened to their league?
Much richer country. I think they're like
died. Look at the money.
10 times in terms of
because
GDP.
They decided against what they were initially doing.
Yeah, because because I think listen,
interest, not money.
And China had a limit on foreign-based players too. You can only have like 3 or 4 on your squad.
Yeah.
And Saudi have like, go ahead.
The presumed plan is that they will invest up until, because they want to obviously host the World Cup in 2030, I think it is. So the presumed plan with they want to develop the local like in football infrastructure up to 2030. I mean, obviously, the fact that like I don't know why we've not even mentioned the fact that Roberto Mancini is now the manager of the Saudi Arabian national team.
My man left quickly. He left with the quickness.
That guy dipped, Kenny. That guy dipped.
Money talks.
Money
Hey,
talks,
Takes,
man.
do you think that if the fans never protested against the Super League, Saudi would still be poaching a lot of players from Europe. If we
Okay,
if,
so
if
that's-
Europe
if
went
the-
along,
if-
if Europe went along with the Super League.
Oh no! Then that we have a whole different situation.
we're heading there.
No,
Let's
no,
keep
no,
it
still
no,
think
no,
they
no,
would.
no,
We're
no,
still
no,
heading
Adash,
there.
no,
Let's keep
no,
it real.
no. Did you notice why no?
Yeah.
Would the Super League still offer the exorbitant amounts of money that the Saudi League would offer? I don't think so.
I don't think you remember the details that
It'd only
involve
be
the
like
European,
high
the
end
Super
players,
League.
though.
Did you know that the European Super League, the original draft, majority of teams were bound to get like close to $1 billion each, like or 500 each, somewhere around there. 500
Yeah,
million.
but it was over a period of time, though.
Yeah, each. Like that was the whole plan behind it. If it went through, majority of these top tier clubs would have gotten money, and they would have, of course, they would have gotten more revenue for the tournament as well. So it's like, I think we're heading there. I think the Saudi just pushed it.
See, thank you.
Let's keep it real.
Because I'm going to keep that Super League video that everyone attacked me for, because with what the Saudi
We're
guys
heading
are
there.
doing, that's what is going to have to happen. Because guys, sorry, you can't compete with this. And also FIFA, what can you do? Because
not FIFA, UEFA. Because
UEFA,
that's the thing.
No. Okay, well,
because
okay,
the thing is, the people that were the pro Super Leagues, like when you go back, like they were like essentially the Americans, like Glazers, like Liverpool owners, etc., because they're seeing the fear, and obviously what's his name, thingy at Perez at Real Madrid, and obviously Barca, some of the financial things. So, but UEFA, were like, obviously that it's a threat to their organization. So the fact that your PSG owner and the like were like, oh yeah, no, we're going to support you, we're going to back you. So when you're now hearing that even Saudi are thinking about maybe squeaking a few things with UEFA and saying, can you kind of like bring some Saudi teams into the Champions League? I wouldn't be surprised if the UEFA start entertaining those things, because in their mind they're thinking, hang on a minute, we're against these Super League merchants that want to break away. We need to have our allies, and we've already got the PSG owner, the Qatari guy on our side. If we can keep and make the Champions League more competitive, and we're seeking alternative revenues for investment, and yeah, of course, bring Saudi in. We're going to get an extra 20 or I don't know how many hundreds of million a season. We can share the revenue around and make the Champions League much more competitive. Why not?
But then it would be a mess because the rules would be different. Like with the amount of money this,
No,
it would be a mess.
there's another issue, right? Okay, assuming they said they're gonna spend like 20-30 billion dollars into this over the past 3 or 4 years, something like that. Do you actually believe the TV revenue is even gonna match like 30 or 20% of that? To give you an idea, I think Premier League has a TV revenue of
So are you saying in reference to the Saudi League?
Saudi League, yeah. So I think Prem has like a total TV revenue of like around 5-ish billion per year. So come on, man. It's not sustainable. That's the whole point.
My thing is that I am interested to see what the Saudis are doing and what their real approach is long term. Because again, because originally the whole thing was, because what I wanted just to get about the topic, which is, because I think Ricardo sort of said this way before, Messi isn't going to change anything. So my question is, Messi is not doing what I wanted him to do. Because for me, this is a social experiment. Can Messi go there and just go crazy and just highlight rules, crazy things? And if he does that, is that now going to have a knock-on effect to how young kids will now act with regards to choosing what sports they want to now do in college? So is a 9-10-year-old looking at him and say, you know what, I'm not going to take on basketball, I'm looking for baseball. Let me take on football. I don't know. So for guys in America, do you think this is going to show? So let me ask Adash. I'll take some So Adash, from you living in America, do you think you're seeing any kind of change as to what Messi is doing?
There's definitely a lot of buzz around, and even my barber who never watched football before the World Cup, he's now betting on games, and he tuned in to watch Inter Miami. He knows nothing about the game, but for kids and college kids picking the sport, I think MLS has to get rid of the salary cap and try it, but they're not going to. The structure they have is like all the other American sports, but it would have to be more like the European football structure. Even pro rel, there's no relegation. Even though we have another tier, the U.S. Soccer League, USL or whatever.
It's never going to surpass basketball. That's just never.
Even college football. College football here is really popular. I went to a baseball game today. I mean, that's still part of American pastime. So There's a lot of hurdles. I think it's more popular than NHL or it could
see,
pass.
here's the
It
thing.
could pass baseball, but that'd be like 10, 15 years. Like
No. But see, here's my
clear
thing.
of it.
The best case scenario is to be the third biggest sport. That's the best case scenario. It will never ever go over basketball and American football because they just have inroads that can never be dispelled. But my main thing is this: can Messi's effect allow football to be much easier access for lower class families?
And
Because football is the people's game. But for some reason, in America, they've made
Not
it
anymore,
a
HH. Not
rich
anymore.
white mom sport, which is crazy. Where this is a sport that is literally for the people. You see, golf is
Not
the
anymore,
expensive sport
HH.
where it's expensive.
But
HH,
HH,
not
even
anymore.
like the football fans here, like fans of world football here, MLS isn't popular among football fans here. Like Liga MX is, I think, the number one watched league, and then EPL among Americans here because it's like a lot of Mexican Americans still watch the Mexican league, and the Premier League is way more popular. So MLS has to improve its popularity too, because there's a lot of football fans, but they just
So,
they
let
still
me
don't
say,
take MLS seriously.
So, do you think that the MLS has to be popular in order for football to be far more accessible to American kids?
Because in all the other American sports, there's like NBA is the most popular sports, American League, NFL is like no one else really plays American football. So I think that MLS has to become more popular. And
You know what it has
because
to do? Adnan, sorry, it has to be part of culture.
Exactly.
Like, that's the thing with America, because when you're always looking at memes, or you're always talking about the A-list celebrities in America, it's always the NBA players, and then you would say it's your NFL players. Like, so for if MLS wants to be on that level, they have to be part of culture. Which personally, I've said it. I don't think Messi will change that. I think Messi is just going to be part of MLS's legacy of great players that have played in that league.
But there is some crossover between like basketball players and football players. They always hanging out in
Jimmy Butler and those people.
Yeah, Miami and stuff like that.
You have to be in a situation where, like,
wait. I'm Ardis and AK, and then I'll take some of the Ardis.
You have to be in just following on Ricardo's point. You have to be in a situation where, like, it's quite common for you to get a bunch of mates and you guys go and play like five-a-side or something. That's what I mean in terms of culture. Like, of course, American people go, get some mates in basketball. I know NFL is a bit different. You can't organize all that, but I just think that you have to make football accessible, like on the street level, in order for it to obviously make that impact. I just don't think that it's ever really going to be like that in America.
Yeah.
All right. So wait, let me quickly hit some Dubinsky's, man, and then I'll come to AK. Wink. Enzo now has a black citizenship, best midfielder in the world. Wink, thank you for that, man. Thank you for announcing Enzo as a black citizenship, man. Thank you, bro. Savinci, Cristiano winning the Camel Cup is goated, by the way. Look, we're calling. Wait.
Respect the Arab Champions League. Respect the Arab Champions League.
Arab Champions League. Well done to Cristiano, man. Well done to Cristiano. That's a dope, man. So, Givamejo, thank you for the Givamejo. You can't say they cooked while watching only clips. Rooney has only one clip in the MLS, left out loud. You have no idea how trash he was. Look, let's be real. The only guy that made a really big impact in the MLS, I think, was Giovinco and Ibrahimovic. Like, Giovinco was bloody good. Was it Toronto that he played for?
Beckham as well.
I don't like him, but
Beckham did.
I think David Villa played well as well.
He actually made an impact.
Giovinco led Toronto to the only MLS treble. Just by the way,
DC United did the double, the Champions League too in '98, but Open Cup.
So shout out to Elijah, member for 9 months. Computer tax to me, coming back soon. But I do need an apology for a criticism of my GOAT. The chaos personified himself. Santo, Darwin, Gabriel, Nunez, Ribeiro of Artigas e Benfica. Jesus, give me a break, bro. Give me a break. I ain't apologizing to Doc Martins, man. Shout out to Edwarding, member for 15 months, man. Thank you for the support, bro. Kids in urban areas don't play football. So what do they play then? So basically, kids like in sort of urban areas in America.
I was in Baltimore the other day. I saw kids playing American football, soccer. I mean, yes.
Yeah, it depends
Basketball.
on the
It
area.
depends on like
I
if
feel
they
like
have access. Like if they have a
That's my thing. It's a
a
whole.
field
I think it's two
with
things.
a
It's access
goalpost.
and it's culture as well. Wait, hold on. Let me get the jobs and I'll come to AK. Actually, no. AK, go for it and I'll finish his jobs. AK, give
I
me your points.
mean, I think Messi won't change much. He'll just make the craze around the sport bigger, but like it's up to the United States Federation to, actually make the sport more accessible, because I think I've said this before that like in the US, when I played in the US, the price of like for a season for travel soccer, that's what I call it here, was around 5 times like what I paid for when I was not in the US, when I was in the UAE. So it was like five times extra. So like if you're lower class, you can't pay for that. Whereas in Europe, for example, the academies pay for like the kids to play and go to school and all that. So I think the way the United States views football in terms of like the whole travel soccer thing and like going into the college, playing at college, it doesn't work if you want to become a top footballing nation, because the top nations have their best players playing in academies at the age of 18 and are already developing like a team philosophy. And so
In fairness, AK, the women's team is the best.
The women's team is good because
But
they're all
did you see the World
rich.
Cup?
They're all rich.
They
That's simple.
went on the route to 16.
They're rich.
They're rich.
And now European countries are starting to
Yeah,
support their women more. So you saw Spain win the World Cup, and other
and,
countries are emerging.
I mean, the women's team have all everyone there is from private school. Everyone there has gone to private. They're rich. Most of them are rich. Let's be honest. And I think for example, when you look at a country like France, they have so many like concrete pitches in the area, and like in the more rougher areas. For example, the rougher areas of Paris, of Marseille, they have a lot more like concrete pitches that makes the game a lot more accessible to like the common man. And in the US, it's just not that way. So I think.
All right. Okay, let me hear this. So shout out to Whimsical Thoughts. Thank you for the dope, Whimsical. Question for the panel. Do you reckon this Saudi Pro League project is sustainable and in for the long run? Will there be a power shift from Europe to the Middle East? Here's my thing. It's hard to predict the future. Why I fight against the power shift is the history of Barcelona and Real Madrid. The money thing is a big thing of it. If you're going to pay me 5 times more, it's crazy. But if you're South American, it's because at the end of the day, your bills are going to get paid, and you'll be paid well, handsomely. So yes, you're going to earn a lot more. But for a lot of players, like bro, if I'm playing for Barcelona, Real Madrid, I'm good. I'm good for life. On top of that, if you're Brazilian, it means something to play for Real Madrid. It means something to play for Barcelona. And also, if you're in England and everything, the history, what it means to play for Liverpool, a Man United, in Arsenal and Chelsea, that means something. So you're still going to have that dichotomy of, bro, this is too much money to ignore. But also, you also have the dichotomy of like, no, playing for these clubs, there's a meaning behind it. So I'm not too sure whether you're going to see a patch ups where the Middle East is now the top tier most elite league. I'm not too sure about that. And whether it's so sustainable, bro, it's how serious Saudi Arabia want to take this. I mean, guys, do you think this can be okay? So 2 questions for Casey. Do you think there's going to be a power shift? Do you think it's so sustainable, the Saudi project?
No, it's not sustainable at all. And here's the thing, right? EVs are coming close, and like EVs are becoming pretty good now, and solar energy is also pretty good. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh wow! So
of course it is. Can I just have like? There's a reason why Saudis are investing so much in other things. They want to diversify the economy, and like football is one of those areas that they think they might be able to get revenue from. At the end of the day, they want to make it self-sustainable.
Of course they do.
Sorry, you're gonna ask me.
So do you think there's going to be a power shift? And you've already said that it's not going to be sustainable. So you already answered that question. Do you ever see a power shift?
No, personally, at least not in our lifetime, if I'm being honest, because even in the 1930s and the 1940s, clubs like Barcelona and Real Madrid were still big in their countries, right? Even in football, I mean, yeah, in football you had like what those times was like what Everton, Aston Villa, and stuff like that. They still have massive cultural flaws within their country. So, but on an international sense, I think that's where it gets a bit tricky. Um, because even when South America was at its best around like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, like nobody forgets about the Boca Juniors, the Santos, the Flamengos, and those teams. And people still watch them. Like the following on South American football, for example, is still pretty big, even though the premier talents, they all end up going to Europe anyways, right? So I honestly I can't say for sure. Like I can't say definitively it
No one
won't.
can, but we could just give it a gut feeling.
But my thing is like I'll watch South American football. I'll watch two mid-table teams in Argentina play against each other. In Brazil, the other leagues not so much. In the Copa Libertadores, I will watch the best team in Paraguay face one of the best teams in Chile because it's actually good football, right? But I mean, the Saudi Pro League, like I think I've said this before. I don't think people are actually putting into like in actual context. Saudi Pro League is probably one of, if not the best league in Saudi Arabia, because I know the Japanese league too as well. They
Asia.
Asia.
I know you mean Asia, right?
Sorry, yeah, in Asia. I know the Japanese league too as well is like a pretty strong.
J League,
yeah. So now you have these four teams that have been reinforced. I believe all four of those teams, like even if they were to finish top four, all four of them don't end up going to the AFC Champions League because I believe it's like 2 spots and then there's a qualifier. Are we going to get to a point where the winners of the AFC Champions League is always going to be a Saudi Arabian team because of the amount of money and players that are going to these top teams that even the J League can't even compete with these guys? Because this is exactly what's happening in South America, for example, where Brazil have done a magnificent job in promoting their league. And mind you, like they're winning on winning and winning and winning. And in Copa Libertadores, it's reflecting on that. They have so many more qualifying spots and they're already dominating it. And it's almost like, do you really need to watch the Copa Libertadores or do you just need to watch their league, which is actually a bigger prize to win? So is that going to be the case where the Saudi Pro League is actually a more revered trophy than the actual AFC Champions League if the Saudi teams in general are just way better than every other team across Asia?
So Al Hilal make the Club World Cup last 2 years.
By the way, HH, we have to talk about this AFC Champions League draw because there's a lot of interesting things in that.
Yeah, and I mean, like last year, the last AFC, I saw that Al Hilal lost the final against some Japanese team. Do you think this?
Yeah, it was Urawa Reds.
Yeah, do you think this team that Al Hilal have right now, they will smoke the fuck out of that Japanese team?
But your boy did.
No, sister tax could do.
Let me bring in this. So, original thoughts. Thank you for the dub, man. What's this talk on self-sustainability? Yes, I get the economics, but historically, most of these clubs are running on a loss, and I don't see the owners ditching. The reason is because there is demand and it's growing year on year. So I think he's talking about the Premier League. Because my thing though is, look, see, I just feel that I don't know how, but the way football is going and just how it's been operated, it's just going to implode in and of itself. But here's the thing. Because football will not always be the most popular sport. I remember boxing used to be the most popular sport, and now football has now taken over. Football is going to be taken over. Maybe not in a lifetime, but it will be. But my thing though is, if the owners remain there, and these owners ain't going to run out of money anytime soon, and they keep on investing, cool. But here's the thing though. If we get to a situation where, for whatever reason, but here's the thing though. The Premier League, I feel, is fine. Because in the Premier League, everybody eats. La Liga, only 2 teams eat in La Liga. In the Serie, we have Juve catching a case every freaking season. So that's a different case. So my thing is, that's who pushed for the Super League. It was your boy Agnelli, your boy Perez. because La Liga and Serie were not as self-sleep as Premier League. The Premier League ecosystem, I think, works because that was the whole point. It was created to be like
it
this.
doesn't work.
Why why
most
does
of
the
these
Premier League work?
Okay, look at Everton, right? The owner, like he got in. One of the owners is like Abramovich, like he was a Russian oligarch and all that. And he stopped. Yeah, he stopped. He stopped investing in the club, and now they're broke right now because they invested so much money in the last 7-8 years.
And they're building a new stadium.
No, but that's why I said the caveat is if the owners keep on doing it, because see, that's the funny thing. We keep on insulting the Bundesliga, but Bundesliga will always be good. Now, it will not always be competitive. It's a one-team league, but that 50+1 means that even if the owners ditch us, we're still good because the fans that have the ownership. So Bundesliga have created a situation where no matter what happens, an owner ditching or leaving can never leave a club in disarray. The Premier League, it's good when the owners are keeping investing, but if the owners just say, "Oh, I'm out," that's like.
To add to Casey's,
I have a question for you guys. Which league do you think earns more money, the NFL or Premier League?
NFL.
Earns more money.
It's the NFL.
NFL.
And which is more popular? Which league is more popular?
We mean globally, the Premier League. Globally, the Premier League.
Yes, but still, NFL is like much more profitable, much more revenue generating.
Crazy.
But then again, that's the American system because the American system has always been about because remember it's about creating parity and creating a situation about marketing. You see, Premier League was trying to. It's difficult. The Premier League in 1992 was trying, in a way, not the same to be similar to the American system, but what happened in the Premier League was, it's like the Wild West.
But also, sorry,
come
but
in
also,
and just say what's up.
but also interrupt this competition. Like, what is like in terms of in the actual sport? Because like, okay, yes, Premier League, but like you have Premier League, you have La Liga, you have Bundesliga, you have so many different sorts of. What is actually the actual natural competition in the same sport of the NFL? Like, if that is literally the only like league or anything that people are watching, of course it's going to up. Aside from the advertisement they put in, like competition obviously dilutes.
Yeah, there's arena football, XFL, and maybe like.
No, but American football is literally only more or less. It's only like in America. Like,
But
I think
didn't even the XFL didn't they just merge with the NFL?
Probably,
No.
I don't even know.
No, they just redid the XFL. I think they went down, but I think
Yeah. That was what Vince McMahon and everything.
No.
Doesn't The Rock also have his own league?
Yeah,
I think The Rock.
He bought the XFL.
The
He brought it back.
bought the XFL, and I swear he signed something with the NFL to host the leagues together.
I don't know about that.
HH, do you think? Go ahead, Casey. I know you were talking before.
I'm just trying to say that at the end of the day, right, you need to start making money. And we haven't been doing that in football. Actually, in La Liga, Spanish teams do make money, but Premier League teams don't make money. Saudi teams definitely don't make money.
But Casey, that is the whole point of the Super League. What they've realized is that wait a minute, America is the new world. Europe is the old world. So, and there are benefits of the old and the new world. So, America being the new world is that no, you have to modernize. I'm sorry, if you're the number one sport in the world, in 2023, you have to have a version of the Super League. It makes sense. Because you have to have an ecosystem where everyone eats. Because how do you have the number one sport in the world, but people cannot make revenue? That makes no sense. If let's say you're American and say, wait a minute, hang on, you guys, okay, yes, we have the number one sport in America. You have the number one sport on the planet. And you guys are struggling for revenue? That makes no sense.
Wait, wasn't the Super League like as advertised was like only those 12 teams could eat though?
But that's the initial plan. But they said no, they wanted to progress it and redefine it and everything.
The problem.
No, but let's be to become like some team. Like, at the end of the day, it's the top teams that are gonna be winning. Like some teams, like the rest of the teams, they're gonna have to fall to the wayside. Like not everyone is gonna make it to the top. People are gonna get sacrificed.
To add to that, like even if you do have the Super League, right? I mean, what, you're gonna have just 20 teams out of like the hundreds of teams that exist in Europe. Okay, you want to add more teams, you add a second division because you're not gonna have a 40-60 team league anyways. So do you think any top European team wants to be in a third division of a European Super League? And let's be honest, the reason why these games, like, you know, like, I don't know, like your Real Madrids, your Man Cities, whatever, the only reason these games are actually very, very enticing, which, like, when you're at work, like, at least for us North America, like if you're at work, you're like, I need to get home ASAP to watch this game because these games don't come around too often.
They're
Like
rare.
the last time I've seen Barcelona face Man City was in 2015, I believe. The fact that they don't always play is what makes it a good selling point. If we were to have a European Super League, it will be fun the first 2-3 years, but 10 years down the line,
So no, okay. So my response is, so let me pick a matchup then. So okay, like peak heats against the Spurs during like the 2011-2012, or like Bulls against the Lakers. Yeah, Bulls. Okay, in the 90s, Bulls against the Lakers. They played each other like twice or whatever, and then maybe play against the playoffs. But a good, basically, two top teams are two top teams. So my thing though is that, because let's keep it a stack. 9 times out of 10, Barca should completely destroy a Getafe or a Pescara. But if you have a situation where it's Barca, Juve, PSG, Atletico, Liverpool, Chelsea, Bayern, Leipzig, all these top guys, because at the end of the day, are we hyped when Bayern play against a freaking Braunschweig or
that's not the point. There's already an established way of how we view teams and how we view competition. If you're gonna have a European Super League, right? These big teams, let's say, just use the top 5 leagues for example, they still need their big teams. So like, even if Barcelona and Real Madrid were to go like starting, we need to win this European Super League. We're gonna play our best 11 every single time. If La Liga is no longer that important, they're not going to play their star players there. And what happens as a result, the smaller teams are going to be affected, because for a lot of those smaller teams, when Barcelona and Real Madrid are in the town, everything jumps up in prices, right? So it has a huge ripple effect. And if you're going to have these top teams not play their best players, and remember, this is a sport, I guess a generation that's much driven on star power because of social media. If you're a kid that lives in Vigo and you know Real Madrid's coming into town, but you know Vinicius Jr. is not playing, how are you as a Celta de Vigo sports owner gonna sell that ticket to the fan? Not only that, but having the European Super League also takes away what the value of the domestic competitions are. So I don't.
And the Champions League too. So would it just become irrelevant, or they?
It's not even that, because you need domestic success to get into the Champions League.
I know. No, Ricardo, no, you're fully right. But my thing is that this all came about due to COVID. Because if, let's say, you're an owner, you have to face reality, which is financial reality and also financial survival. Now you can say, okay, it's your fault that you were in this situation, or deal with it, which is true. Okay, fine, it's my fault. But the reality is the reality now. This is the financial reality, and we need to make a decision, because for whatever reason, La Liga, the way it's constructed, you didn't really construct it in a way that made business sense. Premier League always operated in a way of where we're going to maximize marketing and business, which is that even if COVID happens, we can still survive and still say what's up.
No,
so
but Habo, no. But this is
they
didn't survive. Who said Habo? Okay, Chelsea making losses for like 3, or I think this might be the 4th year. How is it surviving?
No.
How is it surviving then?
Casey, did the Premier League need the Super League as much as Juventus or any of these other teams that were twerking for the Super League? No, they just thought that.
You do know that.
Yes. No, we didn't.
That's why Liverpool owners and Glazers wanted it.
Come on, Casey. No, we didn't. The only reason you needed your league needed it because your
okay,
clubs
Abdullah.
are dying.
Okay, hold on. Which clubs?
No offense. I will be very surprised if your club exists in the next 10 years. You need that money.
Okay,
How?
here we go with the
Wait,
hype.
Abdallah,
No, but
This guy's
Abdallah, you
extreme,
think
bro.
Messi exist in 10 years?
no, Habo. Here's the issue.
Leave it, Tax. Leave it, Tax.
Even after you make fun of Barca, broke and all that.
Hold up.
One second.
Hold up. Let Abdullah finish his points. Abdullah.
Let me finish
Abdullah,
my
you can't
point.
buy prestige in history, by the way.
I'm sorry. How of a big institution as Barcelona, top two, struggling constantly, selling themselves off like prostitutes and having to sell their shares off. No offense, no sense. I understand Real Madrid done it before, but how long is this gonna be? Because it's already been 3 years.
Abdullah, you don't even own. No, hold on. But you don't even own any of your club. You sold your whole club. Barca fans still own their club. No, you know what? I find it so funny, right? When Prem fans talk about selling levers and all that, it's because the fans actually want to own their own club. Prem fans don't own anything in their clubs. Like, this is actually disgusting when you think about it.
Casey, do you know why it's not sustainable? Do you know why it's not sustainable?
How is it?
To be fair,
the whole concept. The whole concept of it's the working class game. No, it isn't. We are customers, nothing more, nothing less. I think we need to accept that. The sooner we accept that, the better our lives will be in terms of
and the funny part is this whole
we
thing
don't own
is
our
that
clubs. It's the corporations
No.
and the billionaires and oligarchs.
No, but that's not true for Barca and Real and Bayern.
That's why your club is dying.
That's not true for Bundesliga teams, though.
Or Barca or Real. Like Barca, Real are all fan-owned clubs.
Yo. My thing is, Abdullah, man, you sold yourself to a Saudi prince like an Instagram model. And you're out here trying to talk about. Let's keep it real. You're talking about spilling.
They are the original OnlyFans. Man City and Chelsea are the original OnlyFans.
No offense, team, man. Don't be ignorant. It's UAE. UAE, not Saudi. UAE. Correct yourself. UAE, not Saudi. Not the same.
Hold on. Zima, make a point. Zima.
My thing is, when it comes to football, man, that's where we're heading. We're heading towards the European Super League, whether we like it or not. Because let's be honest, UEFA's whole structure is bound on trying to make sure that these clubs don't leave. The first thing they did was try to manipulate the fans and be like, how could they morally do this? This is wrong. And now that they've changed the structure, they're going to keep on changing the structure until it becomes the European Super League. Like, let's keep it real. That's where it's heading towards. First, we're going to add 8 groups in terms of a league, in terms of next season. Then before you know it, we're going to have a league. We're going to have divisions and leagues, and we're going to have back-to-back, tournaments and playoffs. Like that's the way the game is.
You know what's gonna happen if a European Super League happens? Hold on. You know what's gonna happen? The same thing that already happens in American sports.
Yeah.
The players are going to go to the cities that are best appeal to their lifestyle. If I genuinely think if there's a European Super League and all the top teams go into a very fixed situation, there's no point of living in England where it's depressed all the time. It's the same thing you see. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing in the United States. You can get the money anywhere across that country, but the moment New York, Florida, Texas, or California come calling, they're gone. So I don't really know if this European Super League is a good idea for the Premier League. It's really only good for the best cities in Europe, and that's it always.
I think there might be something in for me there.
That's where they're going in terms of.
Wait, hold on. Let me quickly take the quick Dubinsky's, man. So shout out to your boy, Brits Fair. Isn't finances what destroyed Serie during the 90s? Well, and Calciopoli. During the 90s and early 2000s, lots of money was spent, and people were wondering then, where does that money go? I mean, for me.
I can actually give him an answer for that, though.
Okay, so go for it.
Italy has an issue with like stadiums, and that's like Mussolini tax and all that. A lot of these teams don't own their own stadiums, so they've missed out on a massive part of revenue because of that.
Inter Milan, AC Milan.
Yeah,
those two. They're trying to create their own.
But also remember, like, I think what's up is, you remember Italia 90, they built this huge, massive Coliseum stadiums for Italia 90. And obviously, you can't break them down, and they struggle to fill them up. Hence why, like the Delle Alpi, they had to move from the Dele Alpi to the Juventus Stadium because they couldn't fully sustain and keep on running that stadium because it was so big and they couldn't really fill it up. So they moved to the other stadium. So that's why you had the issue you were having with a lot of these big stadium.
Can I speak on the Super League?
Okay, actually, let me quickly hit the jobs on AK. Ariel B. My uncle is a football coach in the US, and he tells us that all the rich kids playing are so trash. And because the parents fund them, you have to play them.
No, that's the truth. That's the actual truth. That is an actual thing. The reason why American soccer will struggle until they change pay to play is because the rich kids or the parents that fund the clubs will keep playing these rich kids because it's for money. That's how you get paid.
We have Zimmerman.
Deshay Malenko. Which Jackson will score more this season, YSK or Nico?
Respect YSK.
No, I will not. Nico will score more than YSK. It's fair. Unless you are Muslim wanting to be near Mecca and speak the language, how much money will be spent to keep the players who will stay for more than 10 years? That's interesting, though.
That's point.
Because let's be real. 2-3 years, you're good financially. Yeah. You're good. So most of these guys, are they going to spend 4 years and sign a new contract? Most of the guys are like, wait a minute. If you're offering me this crazy money, in 3 years, I'm good. So 3 years is 7-8 years in Europe. So what the Saudi hence why they brought in my Niger guy, Emmanuel, to try and help to develop talents within the league. Because I think that they're going to have to keep on paying and bringing in these talents. But keeping the talents is going to be very key because it's true. How many of these foreign players are happy to live and operate in Saudi Arabia where the laws are different? And the things that you can do and can't do in Saudi Arabia are very different from what you can do in Europe. So that's very key.
The weather as well is very hard for them.
Super League won't change the competition. Pep and Bayern would still be league merchants and Spurs will still be mid-table bombs. It won't change anything. Look, but it will at least give me quality games to watch every week, bro. Because City against Kingsbury FC, ain't it? I'm sorry. Like, City against Kingsbury FC, ain't it? AK, talk to me, man.
I mean, in terms of the Super League for me, my sort of issue with it is this. So what is the Super League? Basically, for me, I look at it as something where you're taking the middleman, which is UEFA here, away, and the clubs make all the revenue that they can get from participating in like a Champions League or Europa League-esque tournament, right? That's in my opinion, that's what I get the gist of it as. My question to these guys is because if Marseille qualify for the Super League and suppose they're eligible to get this money, how can I trust Real, Barcelona, and Juve, who are the 3 leaders of the Super League, to manage the money better than how I trusted UEFA? Because UEFA
have no 100% right. AK is 100% right. Like that's why Super League is actually not a good idea.
Yeah.
Because you're basically giving the power to these 3 clubs. That's why I actually personally don't support it because of this.
Corrupt clubs.
Unless you get like a third party
So you trust Chefrin over these 3 lovely, nice charitable clubs?
There's some semblance of like
Chelsea would have been those few clubs.
Relax, but there's some semblance of like regulations when it comes to UEFA. Something is there. There's going to be nothing.
Very few.
There's going to be nothing.
But here's the thing. How is it that this is the number 1 sport in the world, watched more than anything, and people are not getting a big enough bag for either being in the Champions League, getting to the semis, or winning it?
You want the reason for that?
For winning the UCL should be a lot bigger.
You want the reason?
Yeah.
Well, what's the reason, Casey?
Deep it. The show that happens in Super Bowl, right? Like I think Rihanna performed it this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people die for it, like, and they're like so many sponsors for that and everything.
Halftime show tax.
When Kamaya Cabell, what's her name?
Camila
Cabell. Yeah, whatever. Like whatever the chick is. When she performed in the Champions League final, the fans were booing her.
When is
Habu. I think there's a difference. America, by definition, is a very consumerist society.
Europe is not.
Capitalism.
No, Europe is also capitalist, but it's not as consumerist.
No.
as
But
US.
America's like extreme capitalism of like extreme.
Europe is more like traditional in a way.
No. But my thing is that I'm sorry, it's the Champions League. The Champions League is watched way more globally than the freaking Super Bowl.
Okay, how many ads? How many ads?
Not one's getting a big enough bag.
Okay, how many ads? How many ads can you fill in in that 90 minutes game?
You can't fill in any.
Yeah, you
can't. No. But Casey, Casey. Here's
the nature of the game.
thing.
You can't give it a lot.
Yeah, you can't.
They don't have the timeout.
The only time that would be considered is if the commentator says the ad. It's like, this game is sponsored by.
But Casey,
no, they do it in America actually. They sometimes
Casey, if I'm hold up, if I'm UEFA, I am charging a planet and the universe for you to put a 30-second ad for the halftime of the UCL final.
But they're not going to. But they're not going to pay.
That's my issue. You are not charged because, bro. Like, I'm a movie merchant. I always, because I don't really watch Super Bowl.
Exactly, yeah. That's how you watch Super Bowl, like for the trailers.
Because those guys are like, oh, this is gonna get X amount of eyeballs. I'm sure you're crazy, bro. Let's keep it. I know America is huge and has many people. More people are going to be around for the halftime of a UCL final than the halftime of the Super Bowl. So why?
But but there's a massive caveat there. But there's a massive caveat.
But the thing is that
okay,
because they made in football they have a whole halftime show. People know about it. Like no one knows. It's not special.
Say what you said again. The last.
Yeah, no.
There are more eyeballs.
Okay.
Around during the halftime of a UCL final than the halftime of the Super Bowl.
No.
Okay, can I answer a question?
Hold on.
Can I answer a question?
People legit, a lot of people legit only watch the Super Bowl because
For
they
the halftime.
want to watch the halftime show.
That's
And
it.
commercials too.
And halftime. That's literally it. That's
I
literally
would argue that the halftime performance is actually a bigger event than the actual game. Now, the thing is, I think it completely depends on where you live because you live in Europe. I'm not gonna say where. You live in Europe. I live in Toronto. Okay, I can even say this in terms of away from this comparison. In the Champions League final, to you think it's huge. It's because you live in Europe. I promise you, here in Canada, the Champions League final isn't that big. I can tell you right now, in South America, that nobody really cares about the Champions League final. They care way more about the Copa Libertadores. To them, the Champions League final is what someone like me would view the Copa Libertadores like. Yeah, I'll watch it, but I don't support these teams. I don't care.
Yeah, worldwide.
Can I give you the political incorrect answer for that?
I'm just thinking now.
No. There's another thing that I don't think you put into consider, right? Consumer behavior is not necessarily, it doesn't translate from one sport to another.
Exactly.
So you're expecting, so for me, let's say I sell a product, right? And I wanted to get advertised for the Champions League final. Do I know that I'm going to get the same return as the Super Bowl? Yep. It's heavily dependent on my product. It's heavily dependent on the consumer itself.
No. What I'm missing here is I am looking at this very myopically, at the sport specifically, because my thing is that this Champions League is still football. The Super League isn't about the NFL. It's an event.
Yeah,
and I think that's the key.
What the halftime show you mean?
No. The Super Bowl. The
Super Bowl.
Just this. When you just hear Super Bowl, it's not really about NFL. It's about the events. It's a thing. That basically it's similar to the World Cup. Do you know how many people tune into the World Cup and they hate football? They don't like football. But the World Cup has now become. This is if you're from Jamaica, Peru, and everything. The World Cup is where I'm repping my country. I hate.
No, but how many women
do I see watching the World Cup?
Wait, HH, you need to understand that the World Cup, unless you're not an elite country, a World Cup winning country, it's not a genuine competition for you. For some countries, like even for Peru, bro, just being in the World Cup is more than enough. It's You have like
it's an event. It's a social.
It's an event. It's a global event. Even if you don't care, the fact that it's every 4 years for 1 month, you're just naturally gonna care because it doesn't always happen, and especially when your country is in it, when it's rarely ever in it, it's gonna be magnified even more. More people care about the World Cup because it's an international thing. These Champions League teams, they're only based out of a city. Nobody cares. There's millions of cities across the world, but a country is just a different feeling.
Can I give you the politically incorrect answer for that? Why? Oh, sorry, go on.
At the last World Cup, we're about to go so Jamaica, they support Brazil, and at the last World Cup, when Brazil played their first game, there were no murders in Jamaica for like the whole day. So like it's a big deal for them to support Brazil during the World Cup.
Saves lives, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you should pull up like the most viewed sporting events and compare Champions League to the Super Bowl. Now, I know
Champions League has more than the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, much more. But
no, just like to get the numbers, like how, like the discrepancy. But Tour de France was actually watched probably more than anything the last time. I think it was actually up there with the World Cup.
Wait, you mean the sports where everyone dopes?
Yeah.
Who the fuck watches Tour de France?
I don't know who watches it, but I saw the numbers the other day and it was up there. It was like Tour de France, World Cup, and then Olympics.
So shout out to Juvamejos, who says it does not make enough money because the audience watching is poor. If America does not watch, you won't make enough money. So is this in relation to the MLS? This is in relation to the MLS problem.
No, he's right. No, that's why I'm like. No, can I actually expand on that?
Is that Master Chief in the movie? Wait, what is it? Casey? What is it?
Yeah, that's Master Chief. Yeah. Quote video game guy.
Most overrated character, man.
Zeman, let's not do this now. Let's not do this. Casey, what are you saying? Casey, what are you saying?
Let's see brick, man.
Oh my! See, this is just.
No, Simon, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this now because I'm not doing this now. Casey, what are you saying?
I think, and I was discussing this with Samasi also on Discord. So the median consumer in America, I think, like spends 2 to 3 times of what a median consumer in Europe spends, even in Germany, like which is the powerhouse of the continent.
Yeah.
So America, if you sell ads to Americans, they actually will buy stuff.
Oh no! Look.
Habib, there's a reason why all these clubs come to America in summer, because American consumers actually buy.
No. Look, my brother lives between England and America, but he spends a lot of time in New York and in LA. And my brother said, "Look, if you can make someone money in America, you're good." That's what matters. So that's America. It's like really the whole American dream. It sounds cheesy, but it's really is a thing. Because he said, "Look, you make someone money, doesn't matter who you are, you're good." So the psychology of people in America is different. Let's say in Europe,
if they really want the bag, they're gonna have to change the time schedule because that shit. It's nearly like 12 in the afternoon, bro. They're gonna have to go like at least 3-4 hours afterwards, man.
Shout out to Abris Fair. Do you think Barca and Juve will accept relegation from the Super League? No.
No one is going to accept that.
First of all, Barcelona have never been relegated.
Isn't it? I'm just I think he's an Inter fan.
Well. There's a first for everything. So guys, look. So guys, remember, members Hangout on Monday and UCL build up on Tuesday and Wednesday. We're having UCL build up Tuesday, Wednesday, and UCL.
Wait, why? Wait, how can we? That's not a part of this year's schedule.
That's not a part of your schedule.
That's not a part of your.
Why is it? Why are you?
I swear, like this is like it's a weekly thing or something. Like.
So are you guys going to do this? Wait, hold on. Are you going to do this to me?
False information.
I don't think you understand what it means to be in the Champions League.
Okay, so are you guys going to do this?
Okay, hold on. First of all, you try to converse with people who speak fluent treble. That's already a struggle.
You guys are sad. That's ridiculous.
Why are you in such a rush? I have a question.
That's ridiculous.
You better start saving because that Champions League streams ain't
gonna. I have a question. You know what's hilarious? I'm feeling more sick the more we get close to the Champions League. Draw, bro. Because if we get a group,
no.
I have a question.
So guys, peace out.